Welcome to RNS Podcast 2022 Best of.
Yes, 2022 Best of. What a great year in film. I know I just said how disappointing
Andy, this is a new clicked video. Who are you?
I'm Andy. You're right. I'm a guest on this podcast.
So if you didn't catch the last one for the very first time, me and Evan are lucky enough to have our friend Andy.
Hello.
Greetings.
Greetings from planet Earth.
And Evan, who are you?
I'm Evan.
I always like to ask you who you are as well. My beautiful co-host. So this time, be a little lighter note. Last episode was pretty nasty.
We talked about a lot of bullshit.
Pretty grody.
We did.
But this episode, we're going to keep it positive, and we're going to keep it hype and epic. And
a buck and a half.
We're going to keep it a buck and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to keep it G-real.
G-real, my friend.
So I guess we'll do it the same way as last time. We'll just start from the bottom of our top 5 movies of the whole year.
Well, our honorable mentions.
We'll start with our honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And then we'll work our way up, alternating through our lists.
Yeah.
So
our guest, we have our special guest. We'll let him take it away.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I feel privileged, honored, and everything in between.
You are white privileged to be here.
I am white privileged to be here. That is indeed. 2022 was a year. I wrote a whole thesis on it.
Oh, really?
It was a year of movies. There was quite a few I really liked. I gotta be honest. There was quite a few I didn't like, but there was quite a few I did like. So as my honorable mentions, I want to give no order here. No order here at all. This is just random ones I'm looking at Letterboxd right now. Crimes of the Future. I actually really liked that movie.
I enjoyed that
Looking
as well.
back, it was definitely not one that I ever thought was going to crack my top of list, but at the time of seeing it, it was one of my favorite movies of the year. I think it was a really cool concept. I really liked this dystopian future of the way that humans perform art as surgery and how they're trying to prevent human evolution because if I can't remember exactly how it is, but well, he's like
growing limbs.
Yeah, there's growing new body parts, and it asks questions. It's like, if you grow one extra body part, does that make you human, or do you become a whole new species in that? So these people are like cutting out organs to try to like preserve what is a human, while there's a whole another subset of people that are like giving in to like the growth of these new body parts.
They want all the advantages.
Yeah, so and they're eating plastic, and they're like this whole subplot.
Not unlike real life.
Yeah, and this whole subplot of this guy is like pushing this new candy bar or something, and he's like, some people are dying off of it, but like the people that are growing the new organs find like pleasure in it. And the whole end of the movie is the main character like starts eating it, and he gives in to like the new growth. Like he was always in pain the whole movie, and he finally gives in to the growth of the new organs, and he eats this new food, and he's finally in like peace, and he's found pleasure in this new this new growth in human evolution. So really, I really enjoy the movie. It's
called Crimes of the Future.
Yeah. David Cronenberg.
I was going to say, who is that? Yeah. Okay.
There's a couple disturbing moments of like slicing people open and like finding some it wasn't too hard to watch, but it was kind of crazy. But honestly, that's one that I look back on my list and I'm like, that was damn good. I really enjoyed that movie.
What do you got that at? Did you rate it?
I did not rate it. I don't really rate movies like that, but it's definitely one that I really would recommend to someone. Especially it's not too long, if I remember right. It's just kind of like the right amount of length. It
was like 90 minutes or so.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was like overstayed its welcome or anything. Like I had a good time watching it. Another one, Top Gun Maverick. This isn't on my top list, but it's really hard to deny.
It is actually not on mine either.
Yeah. Wow.
I actually expected it to be on both of your top.
This is a difficult movie for me to talk about because I didn't get the hype that everybody else was talking about with it. I still think it's a marvelous thing to watch.
Yeah.
I go back and I watch a lot of things on YouTube because I only saw it one time. So I've gone back and now that it's on YouTube and the 4K scenes are on YouTube, I've gone back and watched a lot of it, and it's fucking awesome. It really is a fucking awesome movie. It's so cool to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun.
It is such a fun movie. It is. The more I've heard about people talk about the plot, it's fucking Star Wars. It really is
the New Hope Trench Run.
Yeah, the New Hope Trench Run is this impossible task that who can they do it, and in the end of the day they do it, and it's a ragtag group of people, and there's some interpersonal relationships between a father kind of figure and the son, and he let his father down, Obi-Wan and Anakin type of thing, or Obi-Wan and Luke type of thing. So Top Gun Maverick is awesome. Even though it didn't make my top list, the more I think about it and the more I talk about it, the more I can really appreciate what it is. it just didn't make my list. I just think I'm more of
it definitely deserves the success and praise.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I'm so happy to see the success. This is a movie that I'm so happy to see this making the top grossing list year over fucking Doctor Strange or Black Panther or any of this shit. It deserves it so much more
than
than
an actual movie.
It's fun to go back and look. This was filmed in 2018, so I bet a lot of the fucking extras and everything that don't even remember doing this is just gonna go on streaming one day. No one cares about this movie. Or god damn,
it wound up being the number one movie.
It blew the fuck up.
And Tom Cruise held out on that.
Yeah, such a shout out to Tom Cruise. He deserved the bump that he got from this. That hopefully Mission Impossible rides that wave. I think that'll be a really cool spectacle as well. So I'm happy to see Tom take a win, and it's been cool to see America appreciate Tom, or the world appreciate Tom, because even though he's a crazy guy, he's a fucking movie star, and he appreciates every now and then to be Tom Cruise, he does this shit for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's kind of he's like a Nicolas Cage or something, where it's
he doesn't deserve constant praise.
Well, I wouldn't even say that, because Nick Cage is in a lot of shitty movies. Tom Cruise is pretty solid as far as his filmography goes.
I don't mean just in the quality of the movies, but I just mean it's this dude always pulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if Nicolas Cage is in a shitty movie, this dude doesn't phone it in. And I don't think, and Tom Cruise doesn't either. And I think I'm hoping for Nicolas Cage to get a Top Gun one day. I don't see that happening, but
yeah. A huge shout out. This was on my top 5 list for pretty much 99% of the year until this final week.
Yeah.
Fucking loved Jackass Forever.
I was not expecting that being your top, but it was a lot of fun.
Comedy of the year for sure.
Even when I was comedy of the year for sure. Even when I was putting this list together today, after I saw the movie I saw yesterday, I was so hard to not put Jackass on this, because it honestly was the best time I had in a movie theater this year.
And we went together. We went with your wonderful girlfriend Maddie.
Yes, we all went together, and
that was a lot of fun.
It was so fun. I still remember watching the fucking this is so much. Talk about memorable. We were just talking about the worst of movies, where I'm I don't even remember why I hated this, because it's so forgettable. I don't even like to remember this. I still remember almost everything in this fucking movie. The beehive. Dick, the pogo stick on the dick. The fucking the Godzilla dick. Notice how these are all fucking dicks. The Godzilla dick in the city. Yeah. Just so many.
That was a cool creative sequence too.
I really like the underwater fart. That was funny.
Yeah. Just such a
with Steve-O.
I don't know if I remember that, but
that one was funny.
Such a great movie.
The fucking ramp one.
Yeah.
Didn't they have the?
That's the one on the poster
where Johnny got hurt. Yeah.
They had the one with the midget guy on the fat guy.
Yeah.
And they shot him off the ramp, right?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. That one, he's on the bike,
That one, I was just I'm so scared for that poor little man.
Yeah, so, and honestly, the new people didn't bother me. That one dude was taking the fucking pogo stick to his dick and everything.
Yeah,
they lived up to, the Jackass, legacy. They were killing it, so I love this movie.
They went hard in the paint.
They did. I want to watch 4.5. I think it's on Netflix.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either, but...
It is on Netflix.
No, it's on Paramount Plus.
Or Paramount Plus.
Oh, is it?
Or is it on Netflix?
I think I saw it on that. Because
I think it's Paramount, isn't it?
I swear I saw it on Netflix though.
It might be on Netflix. Maybe I'm wrong.
It might be on Netflix, because I think I saw it on that title card screen where they
Yeah, I could be wrong.
Because I know I was looking through Letterboxd to find what when I was looking for my best movies of the year, whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw Jackass 4.5, and I was like, is that a new thing? I don't know what that is. And then I remember scrolling through a streaming service and seeing it, and I was like, oh shit, it's on here.
Yeah.
And I know I wasn't looking through Paramount, so
it
was probably, I think it was Netflix. Yeah.
I believe it's Netflix too. I like Chip and Dale. It was this movie will always be synonymous with me with COVID, because I watched this movie and then I went into a deep COVID friends for 24 hours where I was having a fucking lucid dream. It was like
the Spider-Man getting powers.
Yes, it was a terrible 24 hours, but then I had no symptoms after that, but I couldn't go to work or anything, so I just chilled in my house for a week. I watched this movie and then I immediately went into COVID. The minute the credits came in here, I was like, Maddie, I don't feel too good. I was like, Maddie, I don't feel too good. And I laid down and I was fucking a deep 24-hour craziness. But it was alright. It was kind of funny. It made me laugh.
I will say, I'm not huge on it, but I think it's enjoyable enough.
Yeah.
I think I could understand what you were saying. It's you had to be kind of in the mood for it. And then it's also I can understand, you were homesick with COVID. So you just turned on some bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this made me laugh. I had a good time. It was
exactly that. I had a terrible day at work because I was feeling so sick because it was obviously COVID. So I get home from work and I knew this movie came out and I didn't want to watch anything high art by any means. It was just something I wanted to put on and just have a quick laugh and everything. Silly shit. So watch some silly shit, exactly. And the ugly Sonic made me laugh. It made me laugh enough to where I was all right, this is kind of funny. You know what I mean? It did what it had to do.
I guess for me the main thing I didn't like about it is like I just love Roger Rabbit, and it's just like Roger Rabbit does the same thing, but it actually has like a really cool story. And it's a great looking movie, and this like
check out our Roger Rabbit episode.
That's a good episode.
Podcast.
But it just looks pretty bad.
It does. I could not agree more.
Yeah.
Turning Red. I
like this movie.
Turning Red is good.
I did like it.
I really wish this got the theatrical.
It does deserve it.
It deserved it so much.
Definitely over
theatrical release.
I really wish that I could have seen this in theaters. And this is like, it's not on my most anticipated list, so maybe I'll talk about it later. But this is why I'm kind of excited for Elemental, just because I really miss seeing an original Pixar movie in theaters.
Me too. Yeah.
Like I do miss that, because even like all these movies like Soul, like I like Soul, but I would have liked it even more if I saw it in a theater.
Yeah.
Like there's something about seeing these movies in theaters. It's part of why I love Coco, because I loved that time when I saw it. And I was just so caught off guard when I saw it. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
So I think this movie I would have loved it even more if I saw it in theaters. But Turning Red, it really is a good Pixar movie. And I think it's like for like the new age Pixar, it's cute and it's enjoyable, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, obviously it's not on my top list, but I did enjoy that movie. I remember me and Dylan watched that together. We watched Kimi in that back to back, so that was fun.
And maybe we'll be talking about Kimi later.
Oh, maybe.
But yeah, I agree. Good movie.
Yeah, it was definitely for the new like I didn't see Luca, but if I'm ranking the new Pixar movies, like I guess I'm trying to think like post-COVID, like ever since they got on Disney Plus. Like I haven't seen Luca, so I really can only go between this and Soul. So I like Soul more than this. But what would you rank them between those three? Like between Luca.
Honestly, there's probably kind of maybe a hot take, but I liked Luca more than Turning Red personally.
Yeah. I would call it Turning Red because it's more classic Pixar than the other two, I think. Yeah. And then I would say Soul, then I would say Luca. I don't think any of them are terrible though.
For me, it was Luca, and I'm like stuck between Turning Red and Soul at number 2. Maybe Soul, and then
they're very different.
They are very different. I like the boy band stuff in this. Like it takes place in like early 2000s. I kind of relate to that, like being obsessed with like a group of music. Like obviously, like it's just kind of fun. Like it was relatable. It was cute. I liked it. So.
I definitely think this is like
it stuck with me throughout the year.
Of those three, Turning Red is the most like Pixar.
Yeah, I agree.
It has that DNA.
So much more deserves it over Lightyear. Like, probably would have made more money.
Oh yeah.
Also, very similar to. In themes to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah. And they both came out in the same year.
Well, speaking of that is also on my honorable mention.
On your honorable mention.
I like this movie a lot.
That's fucked up.
I remember going into this in a bad mood, honestly. Like, I was like, everyone was like talking like all nice about it, like going hype about it. And I was like, God.
Well, they're still going.
Here's the fucking new A24 movie everyone's going crazy about. So I was kind of in a bad mood going into it. But the movie won me over watching it. And I was like, all right, this is a fucking good movie. Like,
I did enjoy it.
I like it. It's very creative. The emotions, it hits the emotional beats that it wants to. It fucking the action beat. It hits all the beats that it's trying to for me. Like the emotions hit. The action is really cool. The multiverse stuff is really cool. Like it's creative. Like
it's firing on all cylinders.
It's firing on all cylinders. I can see why this movie is so beloved and everything, and like this actually was very close to being on my top 5. It could be on my top 5 if once I go to my number 5, I kind of just have more to say about it right now than I do. Everything All at Once. That's just been talked about to death right now. Yeah. So
it's not on my list.
Yeah,
either.
So it's part of the reason why it's not on my top 5, just because it's been talked about so deeply. But this is probably my highest honorable mention so far. I really do like this movie. It's a good one. It's very well made, but it's not the best movie ever. And then Bodies. I like this one.
I missed that one. I still want to see it, but
I like this one. It was. It was probably one of my favorite horror movies of the year. It might be my favorite horror movie of the year. I thought it was creative. It had some cool like comedy in it. Like it was cool. It was fine. I had a good time watching it. Someone brought their small baby to this movie.
That's annoying.
Like their small children who were running up and down the fucking stairs.
Bodies.
And you had another similar experience with that.
Yes,
with another movie that we may be talking about on one of our lists. So.
I've had a terrible year for movie fucking experiences. Yeah. Like so many babies and children in these R-rated movies. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Stop having kids.
Well, at least you got to refer to Babylon because there's no one else in it.
It was
that's true. There was just an old lady and like a couple.
That was easily the most peaceful screening I've had in months.
Dead ass.
Like there was easily. And just, I mean, I guess this is just more movies that I disliked this year. The Menu, I enjoyed like maybe like 2/3 of it. Like not even I didn't dislike the last half of it. Just kind of like fumbled in the like last little bit of it. Like just kind of became a basic movie. But I liked the editing of it. Like it had like cool like title cards for all the fucking menu.
Nice presentation.
Like, nice
that was
presentation,
cool. Yeah.
like for all the stuff, and like it was like I liked Ralph Fiennes a lot.
Well,
Like,
in the cooking world, they say presentation matters.
You're right, and that's all that matters in life, and that's all that matters right now in this podcast. So I really enjoyed it.
Well, our presentation isn't the best, so don't say that.
Yeah. So I liked the Menu. Menu was enjoyable. Nope. Probably I like this more than Us.
Easily
overall,
for me at least.
Overall, I think it like Us, like maybe the first like third of it or the first half of it, like I like more than Nope. Like I think it started off really strong and creepy.
And that's a good premise.
Yeah, really good premise. But I think overall Nope had a better it stick the landing a little better. I liked and you brought this up the first time we talked about it, that it's more of like an action movie, honestly. Like it's more of like an adventure.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
I like that. It's
not
not
really
as
a horror
much of a
movie.
horror. Like it definitely has
horror.
horror.
Like Daniel Kaluuya.
But there is
like
a great
cowboy. And
Daniel Kaluuya's a
like
fucking
that.
awesome cowboy. I thought that was awesome. Great casting for like a cowboy guy. Like I thought he played that role really well. Like this stern, like he like works on movie sets, like just like with the animal wrangler, like just like he played it really good.
But the one really horrific scene, like really straight up horror scene,
yeah.
when the
I know you're talking
when
about.
the blood is raining out of it, that was really great, and it looked great. Yeah.
Yeah. So
spoilers, but whatever.
That was like one of those things that like
I know what happens. I know what happens.
Yeah, he So
spoilers for every movie in 2022.
Nothing's off limits. Like I'm over here.
Well, my number one actually I can't spoil. You guys already know what my number one is, because neither of you have seen it. So yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Oh, well, we'll get into it. Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Oh no, I do.
Okay, so Nope was good. Nope was good. I had a good time watching it.
That's probably one of my top picks for like I missed that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I should have seen it.
Yeah, like I'm still interested in Jordan Peele's career. Like if this didn't like tank it.
Yeah, I would say like for me because. After Us, I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth, and then this was like, okay, I have faith in him again.
I agree. Like if this was really bad and like just a shitty
horror
movie,
yeah,
I would have been like, all right, Jordan was just
a
one-time thing. Like he ain't shit. Like he's making.
He ain't shit.
He ain't shit. He ain't shit. Nah. This was good enough to where it wasn't amazing, but it kept me on board for Jordan. Like I'm still a fan of his.
That was good to hear too, and I heard that from Evan as well because I know you really didn't like Us.
Yeah.
So it was good to hear.
Well,
that
it's like
was good.
I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was just okay, honestly. But the fact that it was so disappointing, I think.
And because Get Out was so good.
Yeah.
And then last up, I'll talk about a couple streaming things I watched. I liked the Harry Potter special this year. I talked about that.
Well, we did mention that.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I enjoyed that Harry Potter
previous
special.
Episode.
Yes, yeah. If you didn't see that, that's that's crazy. I watched this documentary about the Boeing 737 Max. It's about the airplane that like crashed due to a malfunction in the autopilot because it had more weight trying to compete with this other competitor's airline. So they were like putting on like better like engines that were like bringing the plane down a little bit, and the autopilot was auto correcting, and it brought down two planes because it like the software wasn't on par with this new weight in the. It's very interesting. So this was a great documentary on Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, it was very.
Yeah, I heard about this.
I saw the thumbnail for that. And I was like, I wonder what that is.
Really enjoyed that documentary. Actually, it was quite interesting. And it was a 2022 release right there in the beginning of January.
I saw that on your.
I thought that was 2021. I almost pulled this episode.
John can't be at Chris. You're like, no, it was a 2022 U.S. release. And then lastly, I watched this thing on the plane called Girl in the Picture, just like a crime documentary on Netflix.
I also did see that on your Letterboxd.
This was a good crime documentary. It's just one of those basic ones of like, not basic. It's a crazy story. It's about this like guy who like abducted this girl and like raised her as his daughter, and like he was like raping her and all this shit. Like awful
I remember
thing.
you and Maddie were both telling me to watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of those that like if you're on a plane or something, or like if you have time to watch a documentary, like a crime documentary or something like this, is like one of the crazy one of this year or something, you know? What I mean?
Yeah, like they used to have that one where like the guy killed the guy killed his, but just as a documentary, like that guy that like put his kids in the water tank.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And like he denied it for like 8 hours.
Yeah, every year Netflix has the one crazy
there's
fucking
always
true crime that captures the world. So So that's really, I know I talked about like 20 movies there, but that's like the movies and like things of this year that I enjoyed, that I saw that aren't on my top 5.
Standout good movies.
Basically, if I was making a top 10, like some of those would have been on it, or like, like things that like the documentaries. Like I don't like ranking documentaries, like the narratives. So like, so those are like some other things I enjoyed this year. So
for sure.
So yeah, that's kind of me this year.
Well, considering I don't think I saw like a theatrical or a professional documentary this year, that's RNS's official documentary of the year.
Yeah, there you go.
There's that award. Yes, I'm glad to see. Okay.
Let's give out awards.
Yeah,
if you think of it, let's give out awards.
Yeah.
Like
shittiest movie is Halloween Ends, because it ended up
that's
2
what
out of 3.
It gets our golden raspberry.
I mean, it's democracy.
Yes,
it's only fair.
It's our golden raspberry.
It's only fair.
All right, honorable mentions.
Honorable mention. I know Andy went through a pretty big list, but as I mentioned in the last episode, I only just did one.
I bet some of the things that I said were on yours.
I only did just one honorable mention for each category. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because I wanted to keep it honorable.
Keep it.
Not that you didn't keep it honorable. Not that you didn't keep it honorable, but you know.
The shade. This dude's saying like, bro, you gave this 6 out of 10 an honorable mention. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, that sounded worse than I meant it to be.
No, I appreciate keeping the integrity.
No, my point is like, it's like you were almost there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just want to give it to one thing.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Or the dishonorable mention in the last episode case. But for this one, and I felt bad not putting this in my top 5, but it was almost there. So my honorable mention for the best is The Fabelmans.
Oh, yeah.
That's another one, I think, a key, like, for me, not to steal your little thing, just real quick, that's another one that's like, nope, and that one, I missed out.
Yeah, The Fabelmans, great movie.
Yeah, great movie. We might talk about it later.
Yeah, I know we're going to get into it later, because I know for sure it'll be on one of our lists, and you already know who it is.
I wonder
who. Maddie's going to come up.
Yeah.
No, Maddie said it was her favorite movie the whole year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She loved it.
Well, yeah, that's a good choice. This just for me, I do want to say, I think one of the really standout things of this movie was the performances and the acting.
Yeah,
everybody was really great in this. Like, everybody, whoever played Steven Spielberg, what's his name? Gabriel LaBelle or something.
Yeah.
Is
he
it
was
actually
good.
like autobiographical?
Yeah.
I actually looked it up. So
he's literally playing Steven Spielberg?
Well, yeah, but it's like, they just changed the names.
Yeah. So it's not. It's like I know it's like a retelling of his life, but it's technically not him.
Yeah, it's
technically I was curious.
So...
Paul Dano, he was great in it.
Yeah.
Judd Hirsch, he's only in it for like a couple minutes, but he was great. Michelle Williams was really good. Seth Rogen was also really good. Everybody was great. Whoever played the daughters,
great movie.
They were all really good. So I think that was the standout thing for me.
Good.
But yeah.
We'll talk about it later. I don't want to get too much into it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll let you guys go at it, I promise. When Fabelmans comes up. Don't spoil it.
Not
that it happened in real life or anything.
I won't spoil it.
Well, there are plenty of twists in the movie.
I did see people roasting him, though. There were interviews with people that knew Steven Spielberg when he was like, he didn't have a girlfriend. Like, that was hilarious to me.
That's funny. Well, Dylan, do you have any honorable mentions?
Is that it? You didn't?
Yeah, I just did, like I said, one honorable mention.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I have a couple. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
Okay, my honorable mention, I have Bullet Train.
Bullet Train.
Nice.
Bullet Train was pretty good. It was very entertaining, and in my opinion, it was like, it kind of filled a hole where Gray Man like left me feeling empty.
Interesting.
Gray Man, in my opinion, not to shit on...
No. Yeah.
Not to shit on...
Nobody liked that movie. I enjoyed it, but yeah.
Not to shit on literally you.
Yeah.
But I did not like it. Well, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
But Bullet Train had a little more flavor. Had a little more stuff going on. I really enjoyed that one.
They're about the same for me, personally. I enjoyed both of them.
Bullet Train had a little more character.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I know Andy did not like Bullet Train. Andy didn't
crazy about it. It was just so ridiculous, but like I can see why people were like that.
We should do a double feature of Chippendale and Bullet Train.
Yeah. No, I didn't hate it by any means.
Just hold each other.
It was like just one of those movies that I saw this year that like I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it by any means.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me give a quick shout out. Let's see if I have. Hustle was good.
Adam Love.
Emily the Criminal. That's something that I meant to see in theaters, and then Evan didn't want to see it with me, and I was like,
was it in theaters?
Fuck it.
It was, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was. I really did want to see it in theaters.
What's it on now? HBO Max?
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Really? That's fast.
It's on Netflix.
Wow, Netflix
well, no, it came out
a few months ago.
It came out a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought it was like newer. Interesting.
It's like August or something.
Wow.
I'm have to do it to him. Black Adam, shout out Black Adam.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to The Rock.
I enjoy Black Adam.
Shout out to the last Rock appearance in the MCU.
The last appearance Rock will ever have in a film.
What was your favorite moment in Black Adam?
My favorite moment in Black Adam, Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate was great.
Yeah. Okay.
He was really good.
That's not a moment, bro.
My favorite moment is when he shoots out the fucking gold lightning bolts out of his hands. Okay? Ambulance.
Oh, yeah.
Ambulance was a good one.
I also enjoyed Ambulance. Did you see it, Andy?
Entertaining.
No, yeah, I enjoyed Ambulance.
That was an entertaining movie.
Michael Bay on the come up.
And that's about all I got. Just a few mentions there.
Yeah.
Cool. And of course, some of the million movies that Andy mentioned as well.
Yeah.
Turning Red was good. Various things such as that. So.
Yeah.
The Menu was pretty good. Jackass. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just
so
movies.
Our honorable mentions out of the way. And now we'll start with you, Andy, with your number 5.
Oh my God.
Number 5 best Andy movie of 2022.
Okay, so my favorite 5 movies of this year. To start it off, like I said earlier, this could be Everything Everywhere All at Once. To be completely honest,
6 and 5 are close.
Yeah, they're very close. Like this, the only reason I'm choosing this one is because I'm just a little more hot on it right now. I can talk about it a lot more, but. It was your number 5 worst, Babylon. That is my number 5 favorite movie of the year. I really had a great time watching Babylon. I went in with very low expectations because I didn't love First Man and everybody was shitting on it and it flopped at the box office and I was just like, this movie I think it's just gonna be 3 hours. I don't like long movies usually. Like I'm like, this movie's probably not gonna be for me. And it was everything that I love with Damien Chazelle. Like he's big and he's crazy with music, and he doesn't. He loves to tell a love story, and he loves to show Hollywood. And it's really everything that I love from Damien Chazelle.
You love someone obsessed with their career.
Yes. It really is everything I love from Damien Chazelle and La La Land. And I love La La Land too, like you were saying earlier, and Whiplash. So it's not as great as La La Land, but it hit that Damien Chazelle niche that I've really been missing, that I didn't get from First Man. And I really loved the story, and it really touched me, to be honest. The story of old Hollywood. And, you need to put respect on them because, this last scene of him watching, Singing in the Rain, and everyone's, laughing, and, it's easy for us to look back on the old movies back then of title cards and think they were overacting and being silly and goofy and, not being serious actors. But as we saw from Margot Robbie character, it was a different kind of acting. Just because they couldn't, speak and, it was a different kind. It was facial. She could cry whenever she wanted to, because she came from a broken home, and she thought of home and it would make her cry. It was a different kind of acting, and it really touched me. I really liked that story. That he starts crying at the end because he really lived that. It was we need to show we can appreciate the history of movies as it shows, and it goes all the way to Avatar. We can appreciate the history of movies, but we have to look back on where it all came from, even before the talkies.
Yeah.
And what it all stood for, and these people worked hard, and that they innovated this stuff. And, that's what it was to them. This was real to them. That's what movie making was.
Yeah, because I liked when we saw it, Andy. What you had said was because during that scene, it's actually really great. Everyone's laughing at the talkie joke. From Singing the Rain.
I love.
But he's breaking down, crying because of it. And it was I was thinking it was it's okay for you guys for a joke, but at the time for us, it was so real. It was a real thing.
And to say, I wanted to talk about some of the things that you didn't like about the movie, because I actually really like. Usually I hate long movies, but this is a movie where it really didn't bother me. It fucking flew by. The time didn't matter. And I'm glad that it didn't, this story was ultimately about Manny to me, but I'm glad that it didn't cut out as soon as Manny left Jack's life. Jack wasn't out of the movie. I wanted to see Jack's whole story, he was just as part of this movie as it was to Manny. Manny was definitely my main character to this, but I liked that Jack wasn't just out of the movie once he quit, once Manny had kind of left being his, little PA or whatever. You still got to see the story of Jack Conrad and where he is, and that story of this guy who's the biggest movie star in the world, and then he gets a couple flops and the world kind of the median changes, TikTok takes over and these old YouTubers are now it's the same now, you know what I mean? It's this story that's going to be told forever that he was great for his time, but the median has changed now, and he thinks he's a has-been. And, that is what it is, it's just the story that's going to be forever. You're going to be big for your time, but fame is fleeting, and he, he wasn't he was too addicted to the high of being famous, and he ultimately, you know, couldn't handle like the living with himself, knowing that he wasn't, you know, the most popular. You know, he kept saying in the movie, you're Kinoscope's #1 asset, you know what I mean? And he's like, I like to work for my paycheck and everything. He didn't want to be a flop. He couldn't live with himself being a flop. So I liked how it told the story of all these people. I like Margot Robbie's character, of how she's this girl who couldn't transfer over to being a talking actress, and how she just didn't fit what became, you know, what they wanted from a Hollywood star. You know, she didn't have she didn't have the talk, you know.
That scene of her struggling
I like
to adapt, I think was great. The scene of her where she,
I like that 30-minute segment where they were like
hit
struggling.
her mark, and like they're fucking up, and the guy fucking
it was funny.
dies.
Yeah, it was funny.
In the camera box. Well, I didn't think it was that funny. I thought it was actually pretty tense.
Yeah, it was tense. No, but I just like the guy was screaming.
There's
like,
some
shit on you.
But
there's some humor to it.
What I thought was really great was that, like, okay, it's like this big tense thing, like you're saying, and then it's crazy to me that didn't even cross my mind when I was watching it. But then you see at the end, it's like, oh shit, that's the subplot in Singing in the Rain.
Yeah,
and for them it's like a big joke. But then you see it kind of like more than like for them it was like this big serious thing.
Yes, because
you know what I mean.
It was big, and I know it sounds like so cliche. It was big and bold and beautiful, and I can't believe the studio gave him that money to make that.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what's crazy? When I watched that movie, they did fuck up. When I watched that movie, I see that budget, which is like literally like half of what Thor's is, but I see that budget so much more
being utilized
on this movie than I do on these big fucking stupid blockbuster movies. Like this huge fucking scene of the homeless men that are like going at each other. You know,
that was amazing. That was hilarious.
This army, like it was huge. This movie, the extras and the fucking, you know, the music and just this is a movie where every dollar was spent in the right way.
Yeah, I would say
it's not to pay Taika Waititi's fucking best friend or something.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And the attention to detail was crazy. I was thinking about this during the party scene. The direction is so well done because it's like you see like the focus of the shots like in the center or whatever, them talking or whatever, and then you see there's still a million things going on in the background, and the attention to detail is crazy.
You know that there's an individual amount of direction to every extra.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, money's not going to some fucking kid sitting in a boat looking scared, like on Thor in front of a green screen. You know what I mean? Like every dollar is spent.
Yeah, like you're paying these actors, you're paying these set dressers, you're paying
it was
the actual
not
locations.
To talk about. The set design was beautiful. Everything was like just the one shot takes. There were so many times where I was like, this hasn't cut in a minute. Like they've been going at this for a while. Like, and I really the story of Manny. I love the scene where he was in the car with Margot Robbie after he hasn't seen her. He was supposed to go to this premiere of the talkie, but he skips out on it to go see her, and they sit in the car together, and she remembers him, and like they like talk, and she gives him the kiss on the cheek. Like, you know, I agree with you. I do. This could have been like one of my favorite movies of the year. Could have been #1 if they did hone in on their relationship a little bit more. Like I could have bought that he's been in love with her this whole time, but
I love that moment though where he's like, she's like strung out and she's in debt and she comes to him for help.
Yeah,
and he has that flash of her
when he first met her. I thought
that was a moment because we've criticized moments like that before where it's like, like showing earlier in the movie, but you're seeing his perspective.
You understand.
It's not just a cheap like
it's not for the audience.
Exactly. It's for him.
It's exactly what he's thinking. He still remembers this girl that he met before she was anything. Before she was Nellie Leroy, the big actress.
It's like he's having a flash of like feeling.
She was the little girl who wanted to be a star. That was this young girl who like he fell in love with that night.
They came into movies, they fell in love with the movies and came into the industry at the same exact time too.
It's true.
So I think that ties into their relationship.
That was really good. I
agree. Toby was ridiculous and that kind of stuff.
I thought he was funny.
Yeah, he was funny, but
his yellow teeth and his red eyes.
I have to agree that I don't think he was good for the part.
Yeah, me either.
I think he kind of didn't act it very well. He was the worst acting.
I'm kind of not kidding. I think he was like perfectly cast.
Yeah.
I think he did an amazing job. He seems like a great like meth head like huckster like boss.
Well,
in my opinion, I think he was good.
Especially for old 1920s, but especially like if it could have been anybody, but just that going like 4 levels deep of ridiculousness.
I told Evan to that. It's like it turns into Barbarian.
It does. That was silly. It could have been anybody, and so there are flaws of it that they could have cut out. But like in the end of the day, I really was touched by this movie. I really loved it. I was not expecting to have such a good time with it, and it's like it kind of like it hit everything that I love from a Damien Chazelle movie, and it really touched me.
Yeah, I also had a good time watching it.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take Babylon off my worst list, and I'm gonna slide Doctor Strange in there.
I'm glad.
Okay.
We talked shit about Doctor Strange. And we talked good about Babylon. So
all right.
It was like.
Now the video feels a little tainted. A little.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just. Don't get excited. It's number 6 now. Yeah. It's not like my favorite movie.
Yeah. But everyone was very good. Everyone was great in it. Like I thought, I didn't have any performances where I thought it was like bad or cringe.
I honestly did think Margot was a little bad.
Yeah, there was no one that.
I thought she was just okay.
Yeah. I thought she was
one of the weaker.
Yeah, she wasn't one of the best, but like I liked that. She was out of the 3, like her, Brad, and the guy. Like, she was definitely the worst. But like I still like I didn't mind about it.
I thought she was great in the crying scene.
Yeah,
and I thought she was great in the scene where like she can't hit her mark.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah,
the rest of the movie, especially like her intro, and then towards the end of the movie, and like when she freaks out on the rich people, I hated her acting in that. Yeah.
I was just like, I'm like, why does she keep getting typecast as like the crazy New Jersey girl?
She does. She keeps getting. Yeah. She was definitely.
Because like, well, Wolf, she wasn't really like that in Wolf of Wall Street, but still she had like the Jersey accent. Then they did that with the
character.
Yeah. So it's like, why do we keep getting that? She's Australian.
Yeah.
But whatever.
That is true. I didn't even think about that. She's not even from Jersey.
There's something interesting about that. I've heard that when people have like a British or Australian accent, it's easier for them to do like a New York or like New Jersey accent,
not straight American,
as opposed to like a kind of a normal,
straight American accent,
a real American accent,
from the real South, baby. All right, but so Babylon is my number 5. I love this movie. I had a great time watching it. This is one that I would own on 4K.
Nice.
That's one of that's the highest praise I can give a movie. I would not illegally watch this movie. I would own it on 4K.
I will say I still am not a huge fan of it, but you're right there are some positives.
Yeah, and I agree. If it, like I keep saying, if it was like cut down just a little bit, honestly, this is one of the longest movies I've seen that felt shorter. Like I was looking at my letterbox, like of movies that I've seen in theaters. This was like the 4th longest movie I've ever seen, and it didn't feel anywhere near as long as like The Irishman or something. Like I still love The Irishman, but like, that feels like a movie that felt like long as fuck because it was like a whole like it was like a fucking epic telling.
Because this has so much shit going on.
This has so much going on.
The Irishman is a slow paced movie.
Exactly. So this one, I really didn't feel the length. Like it's hard for me to say he should have cut out a lot. He definitely could have cut out a little bit, but I really like. I like that they didn't like just completely cut out from Jack as soon as he left Jack's life. It still told his story. Yeah. Still told these stories of these people because they are just as much of the story as Manny is, even though it's ultimately his.
I did want to say one of my favorite moments in the movie is when Jack goes to kill himself because it like you can slowly feel it coming.
Yeah,
that part is so good because you have. I don't think it's the same scene. But I think the scene before this is him getting like the pep talk from the magazine person, and then it cuts back to Jack, and he's like, he gives like all his cash to a waiter.
Yeah.
And I was like, this dude's about to fucking kill himself.
Yeah.
And then he walks upstairs like solemnly, and then like it holds for a minute. And then I was like, this dude, he's going to walk in there with a gun. And then he walks in there and you see the gun for a second.
On the side,
I was like, oh my God. That was a really good scene.
It was. I agree. I like the building up to it where he's talking and he's just like, he knows. Like, he's like talking to his manager, like, just tell me it's a flop. Like, just be honest with me. Like, this shit, like, I'm doing shit movies now. He's talking to the Asian girl and he's like, like, I'm fucking, like, I'm not doing anything.
That scene was good too.
I ain't doing shit. Like, I'm a shell of who I used to be. Like, no one's interested in me anymore. And then I like that the newspaper artist, or the whatever her name, the reporter, she kills herself or like she dies.
I don't think she killed herself.
Yeah, maybe not kill herself, but that's kind of what I took it from.
I think it was implied.
I kind of took it that she would kill herself because like she's randomly dies after Jack's funeral and she's at his funeral like looking all sad.
Because the way she looks at the funeral.
Yeah, she's looking all like, damn, I kind of caused this.
It says she dies pretty young for however old she was.
She was like in her 70s, I think is what it said. But
yeah.
I don't know. I took it.
And I like how Margot Robbie just like walks out of the movie.
I actually like that too because I do think that's kind of what happened. She kind of got forgotten about. Like she would probably be found like dead in the side of a fucking news article.
And she was always kind of like a fucking like feral animal type of person where she just like does whatever she wants. So
it had that kind of like Forrest Gump charm to me, as ridiculous as it sounds, where Manny is in love with this girl and he's going off and doing these amazing things with all these old Hollywood people and building up the world, but she keeps coming back and he's a sucker for her. But it's not the happy ending. It's kind of the sad ending where it kind of, she got fucked up in shit and she pulls him into it. It's not where she just goes off and dies. Like, she pulls him into his shit and, like, you know, he gets caught up in it this time.
Yeah.
You know? So it kind of, I guess, not really a super, like, close to what it reminded me of, but I was thinking of that in the movie.
It's like sad Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's a little bit like he's just like, this girl keeps coming up, that they came up together from the beginnings and had 2 different lives, but, like, in the end of the day, she's pulling him down because he's so in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah. So that was Babylon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my top 5.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I also enjoyed it. It didn't crack my top 5, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
My number 5, I have The Northman. So that was what, March or April?
So
May?
The Northman was April. Yeah.
It was April.
Yeah.
Okay, The Northman.
This is also on my list.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually my number 1.
It's your number 1?
This is my number 1.
Oh shit! God,
so should we wait till maybe my number 1 to talk about it, or you want to talk about it now?
We can wait if you want.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's up to you. I just don't know.
The Northman.
I guess we talked about Lightyear when it was at your his number 1. So let's talk about it now.
Well, it is my number 5, so I don't have like a million things to say. But The Northman, I just liked getting to see a bigger budget original revenge film in theaters. That was awesome. And it was Viking, so, like, you know, that's already cool as fuck. You know, that sounds, like, corny as fuck, but I'm like, yeah. Like, I just want to see some sick Viking action.
Badass. It was the definition of badass. It was fucking Viking. Like, it was everything that they stood for. It was blood. It was violence. It was fucking Norse mythology, which was awesome. It had that secretosity to it. Like, is this shit real? Is it he's tripping on shrooms? It's the same thing that we look back on. It was like these motherfuckers just crazy tripping on shrooms and they didn't know what it was, or was there really fucking crazy Norse mythology back
demons
then?
and shit.
You know what I mean? Evil witches that can predict the future and your future and everything.
Yeah, that was all great. Yeah,
the best Lion King movie since Lion King.
Yeah,
like, you know, the best Hamlet telling since Lion King. It was. I fucking loved this movie. It was the same thing as Babylon. It used every dollar it was given. You know, the movie never felt cheap in the slightest. It was so many beautiful landscapes.
Well, I wanted to say there's something on that. It's like, this was like, it did one of my favorite parts was that it did a good job of being like a big movie, but at the same time it's very contained. Yeah, because a lot of it just takes place on that one island where the uncle is, and it does feel kind of like a stage play. Like, in that it's like, it's supposed to be an epic story, but it's also very self-contained. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, you're watching a play. So in that way, it's kind of true to the Shakespeare roots. And I agree with that.
Yeah, it does feel like a Shakespearean kind of epic.
It absolutely does. And I love that it doesn't hold back at all. It's incest. It's you know, murder. It's the brother killing each other. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like, there's no hold back. It's not like, you know, the mother's like fucking seducing her son and everything. Like, it's not trying to like hide anything. Like, it's just straight up like just Viking fucking
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's I love the fighting. The ending fight of this movie is fucking amazing, where they go on the volcano and they have the most epic showdown between two of them. They kill each other. No one will ever know about this epic battle that they had, but we gotta watch it. The movie. It's really everything I love in the movies. It's a great epic scale. It's what I loved about Dune. It's so fucking big and amazing, and it's just like it's what I go and watch in a theater. You know what I mean? Like, this wouldn't feel right to watch it at home. You know, it was insane. I saw it on Dolby. Like, it was everything that I love in a movie. It really was. It was just a great story of revenge and you know, what it does to a person, and, you know, like, it was just fucking jacked guys. You know, it had that like 80s like type of thing. You just like watching like ripped motherfuckers just killing each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. It itched everything. It really did. It was just awesome, and it even hit the emotions. Like, I like the Anya Taylor-Joy and like. Yeah, him like sending her, you know, to go like with her son. Like, he has a bigger destiny, you know, than that life with her. And the witches remind him in the movie, you know, like, his destiny is to go kill fucking, you know, he screams it as a child, you know, like revenge mom, you know, or like get mom, avenge dad, kill fucking whatever his name is, you know what I mean? Like, that, he rode as a child to that, you know, till he found the Vikings. You know, that was his one life, you know, purpose. And, you know, that's what the whole movie's about, is he comes back to that. Yeah.
Well, I think Andy said everything I would have said. So.
It's just I love when a movie uses. I can tell it uses every fucking dollar that it was given.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I don't like it when it's like feels like $250 million budget is just cheap as fuck. It's like all right, whatever.
That's one thing about like it's only really the MCU that's like. Where did that $400 million go?
Yeah, it's true. Like, where did Thor...
They had to spend extra to do the rush job on the effects.
Yeah. They had to pay the families of the dying fucking editors.
You're right.
But yeah, for Northman, for Babylon, you can definitely feel the budgets. You can see the budgets, on the screen.
Yeah, and but I will say, yeah, I really like the performances a lot in that movie as well.
This is my number 3.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe, he was great.
I looked at the wrong list. I looked at the ones before I ranked it. This is my number 3.
Northman was your number 3? I was kind of like surprised. What was your number 1?
I looked at it wrong, yeah.
Oh, but the Northman's my number 5, so yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
So you got
I said Andy kind of said everything I would have said.
Well, I wanted to I thought, okay, if this is your number 1 movie, I'll just let you go.
I would say it's fucking corny, like everyone says it, but like I said about Babylon, it's just a big... fucking beautiful, just a movie. Like, this is like a film. Like, this is like it. Also, like I wasn't never crazy about Robert Eggers. Like I like The Witch and I like The Lighthouse, but like they're nothing even close to like Midsommar and Hereditary or anything like that. Like he definitely wasn't one of my favorite A24 directors. But then I saw this and I'm like, I'm ready for Nosferatu. Like that almost made my anticipated list.
Yeah,
like,
I'm glad Harry Styles is in it.
Yeah, like I was very excited. I'm back on like this made me like a big Robert Eggers fan. I was like, okay, this guy can.
You're on the Robert Eggers.
Yeah, this guy can make some amazing shit. Like, make more like this. Yeah.
I'm just a bit curious, though, what his full vision... Because I know there was a lot of controversy before the movie came out. It was like a lot of stuff was cut out, and I think they took away a lot of the psychedelic elements of it that he wanted to put more of. So I am kind of curious about what it would have been like if he had full control, but yeah.
It's an amazing movie.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I still thought it was great.
Who made this? Lionsgate, I think? I don't remember.
It was Universal. Universal.
Was it? It definitely wasn't A24. So.
No, it was not A24. It was Universal.
Yeah, they didn't fund that shit.
But yeah, The Northman was my number 5.
Cool. All right, what about you, Dylan?
Well, I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. Yeah, Northman's actually my number 4.
You're number 4. Okay.
So, yeah, there you go. Good movie.
It went good, yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah.
But, however, my number 5 is Kimi.
Oh, nice.
Once I really came to the end of the year and I was like, what's my top 5? This year, we kind of mentioned this, me and Andy, but the year was kind of light, in my opinion.
I thought it was a good year.
It was,
when I get into my movies, I'm like, I feel like it was a good year for me.
To be fair, I missed out on Avatar. I haven't seen that yet. I'll definitely be able to check that out before it leaves theaters.
I did not see Avatar.
I haven't seen The Whale and I haven't seen Fabelmans, and those are all I'm sure are great movies. So I missed out on all those. But me and you, Evan, we watched Turning Red. Okay, so yeah, basically. It was slim pickings for me a little bit. And I looked back at it and I was like, well, I did really like Kimi. It was a movie that at first I thought it was like, oh, Evan's really going to make me watch like this bullshit. It's like some COVID movie. But really COVID, unlike a Glass Onion, for example, which just has that there for like, set dressing. And it's just like, oh, aren't we cutesy? We're like acknowledging COVID-19.
No, it was actually like part of the plot. Of them, like, you know what I mean, like the themes.
But Kimi,
the plot. Yeah, exactly.
Kimi could have been the exact same. Like the 2/3 of the movie could have been the exact same if, like, with no COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
No, because they literally just have like Glass Onion, the main character. He has a mask on. They spray his mouth with something. And he's like, "Oh, I don't have to wear a mask anymore." And they're like, "No, you don't."
Yeah,
and that's all that has to do with it. Yeah. But Kimi is really about. I thought it was gonna be like there's a cringe COVID movie. But really, it's about a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
And it's about someone that, has a pretty deep mental illness regarding diseases. Yeah. And then
it becomes amplified.
Having something like this, a pandemic, never mind. My point is, it's a really interesting...
Pandemic.
It's a really interesting movie. Yeah.
I don't think you can say that.
I really don't think... I'm going to have to censor that.
Yeah.
But... yeah, my point is, it services the story, and I was not expecting that, and it's done tactfully, it's done well, and Zoe Kravitz is a good actress. She's very pretty.
Yeah, she was good in this.
Easy to look at. I like when her fat neighbor that had a crush on her dies. He's literally...
That was pretty wild, that sequence.
Yeah, that whole... Because the movie's pretty quiet until the ending, and the ending gets, like, pretty nuts. But it was an entertaining movie. It's a good movie, and it's probably the only good COVID movie.
It was weird with him because it was like it had this weird element where it's like, okay, there are bad people stalking you, but there's also a good guy stalking you who comes and saves your life at the end. So
he is literally me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun movie. It's not on my top 5, but I did enjoy that movie.
And it was pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, and you could tell like it was very small budget, but it was like it was fun. Yeah, it worked.
They did a lot of it in their apartment. They got what they needed to done, and they made a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
There you go, number 5.
Keeps you on your toes watching because like, there's a lot of it's a bit thrilling.
Yeah,
for what it is. You know what I mean?
It's a bit of a thriller.
Yeah. You know? So I enjoyed that movie. Yeah, I did.
It's a good movie. Good movie.
Your number 4?
All right, well, this is my number 4 pick. My number 4 favorite movie of the year was The Fabelmans.
That's nice.
I really loved The Fabelmans. This movie, I like Steven Spielberg a lot, and I want to like him, but he doesn't always make it easy. You know, sometimes he makes stuff like Ready Player One, and it really makes you not want to be a fan of his. But this is like the first Steven Spielberg movie I've watched in a long time, where I really had a great time watching it. I loved it, and was happy I was on the Steven Spielberg train again. So Fabelmans, what I really loved about it was very intimate, as crazy as it sounds. I went back and I was reading a bunch of stuff to see how true it really was, and it really was very true. Like from what I was reading about, a lot of the stuff that he says happened really did, and it's you know, if you knowing that it's true, it's kind of like, wow, you really that really happened.
Yeah,
you made this movie. Like that's hard to make this movie. I don't want to spoil it because you said you don't want spoilers, Dylan, but you know, he went through things, you know, to become the movie maker that aren't necessarily like bullying in school, even though there is bullying in it. It's things like interpersonal things, like for this family, that's just like very like, wow, that's fucking crazy that you have to like deal with that, and like, you know, just the people that raised him, and you know, it's watching a master, you know, become who he was. It really is. It's kind of amazing to watch, you know, be eyed open into a master and how he got into movie making, you know, really like the world that what made him fall in love with movies, you know, and you kind of become Steven for that little bit, you know. We all can relate to him, you know, because anyone, especially nowadays, you know, with like how we grew up and how anyone nowadays grows up, has a smartphone and makes movies, you know. It's just, you relate to Steven, you know, and you have those times just like he did growing up, making like movies with your siblings, like on your parents and everything, and even if your parents weren't like always like the most, you know, supported of it, you know, like he didn't have like bad parents by any means, like it was just like different, and it was just like they didn't understand like what this could be, and you know, like how much he loved it and what, you know, what he could do with it, really. So
I think what appeals to me about it the most too is like Steven Spielberg is just like touted as a legend.
Yeah.
So like to see him as like a, you know, a character.
Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting
to kind of explore his,
or see him be so vulnerable.
Exactly.
Yeah, too.
It is. And you know, it sounds corny, and it sounds like, you know, that's the basic thing that everybody says in their reviews, but it is. It's very vulnerable. It's very, like, you know, like, wow, like, what a story to tell about yourself, you know. Like, this
it's like you were willing to tell us this. That's crazy.
Exactly, it is, you know, and I mean, I appreciate it.
And one of my favorite parts of the movie, too, is, like, a lot of people talk about Steven Spielberg's movies, how, like in E.T. or Close Encounters, like, you could see, like, how what happened with his parents is, like, directly in those movies, like, you know what I mean, like they're reflected in those movies, and I think it's cool how you see how his parents kind of affect him as a character, and like what he, like how he grows up throughout the movie. It's like, you know what I mean, so like you see how
the movies that he does.
Exactly, you see how they influence him, and then it's like, oh,
agree.
You know,
why he makes the
thought that was
really
cool.
Why he became the person that he did, what shaped his life, and you know,
and it's like he has like good and bad elements of both of his parents.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought that was cool.
So. Yeah, you know, it was a couple weeks ago, so I don't remember as much to say about it as Babylon, but I really love this movie. It touched me very deeply. I didn't cry in it at all, but
I did. I cried a couple of times watching it. Yeah,
it didn't make me ever cry or anything, but it really touched me, and it really was. It was just awesome to be shown this part of Steven Spielberg's life, I gotta say. And like, you know, and when a movie stays with you and when you research it after, you know, you care that much, you want to like know like how much this was true, like, you know, like, I want to hear more about Steven talk about this, you know. That's a movie that really touched you, you know, and that really like made you want to like know more about his life and everything that he did. So
yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of Scream.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wasn't depressed after.
Later.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I wasn't depressed after I saw the movie. I was like, and, you know, it's very inspirational. It makes you feel like you can do anything. It really does. You know, and I love the ending shot.
I would say it has a great ending.
It has a great ending shot, and it just, you know, like it's 2.5 hours, so it doesn't ever feel very long. Like keeps its like it feels like its length not like how do I say this it feels like not too long it
feels it's like worthy of how long it is.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to say it. Like I'm not like ever like God get this over with or anything like it. Like every minute is used in a well way in this movie, like to tell a very good story that spans many years.
Agreed.
And it looks beautiful too. It really does. Yeah, it's very beautifully made. It looks like from like the past. Like it looks very everything. It's amazing how.
Well, to me, it was shot very similar to his last movie, West Side Story. They look like
that's
almost.
True. That's
they look
true.
Almost
Yeah,
exactly
it did. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. It's just amazing how.
And they're set around the same time. So
they have that kind of whimsical,
I don't know if I describe it like that, but maybe.
I guess I describe West Side Story like that, and the Fabelmans kind of like look like that in a way to me. But I don't know. I haven't seen the fucking movie, so is this on your list?
It was my honorable mention.
Oh right, right.
All right, well that's my number 4. I love the Fabelmans. I appreciate Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I did enjoy it. Like I said, it was close, but the Northman beat it out for me.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Bones and All. I know Dylan did not see it, and I know Andy was not crazy about it, but I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
This is another one I feel I missed.
Yeah.
I should have seen it.
So yeah, this is my number 4. What I really liked about this movie is that, so obviously like the big thing about it is like, it's a cannibal movie, but it's like, it is, but it's really more like, and I know other people have said this, but it's like Badlands or like Natural Born Killers or something like that, just with this kind of a twist to it with them being cannibals. And the movie is beautifully shot. You kind of like get to see like more like the countryside of America. Like that's where most of it takes place.
Yeah, it is. A lot of it. Yeah.
Like Midwest
Ohio,
America.
Ohio, Michigan.
Yeah.
Idaho.
Oh, I thought it was like in the Midwest. Well, where does it start out?
Part of it takes place in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think part of it's like right.
But it's definitely more the rural parts and stuff. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, that was all great. The performances were really good. I thought Timothée Chalamet was great in it. Taylor Russell, I'm really enjoying her. She went great in Waves. That was a great movie.
She was the girl in Waves.
She went the sister.
She was good in Waves.
It was also very, like I said, it's like it's the Campbell thing's just kind of a twist on like kind of like this outsider road story, but there are some very creepy moments in it, like the scene with Chloe Savini. I don't want to spoil for.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Did it ever make you hungry?
No, I did not. No.
It made me very hungry.
I can't say it did.
A nice cherry pie.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
No. Yeah. I like the 80s aesthetic. That's kind of a thing with Luca.
Is it is it set in the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's been doing like his last 3 movies were like all in the 80s. So it had a great soundtrack too.
Good movie.
It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
How was is that the girl's name?
Taylor Russell.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She's like the lead in the movie.
I didn't recognize her, so.
Yeah.
Has she done anything else other than Waves?
She did the escape room shit. She was the lead in that. Yeah.
Everyone's got to do one of those.
Yeah. I didn't see it.
Make her bank
she did both of them.
Everyone's got. Well, I mean, not like specifically one of the escape room movies, but they got to do one of those like shitty.
Yeah, and she's the lead in them.
Pump and dump horror movies or something like that. She had to get her little
Blumhouse bank.
She had to do her Jenna Ortega Scream.
You're right.
Picture,
Yeah, and it was emotional too. I do want to say that too. The ending for me personally. It hit. Oh yeah, and also back on the creepy thing. Mark Rylance's character, he was very creepy in it. Yeah.
There was something I asked you that I don't. You were like, I'm not telling you, and I think I nailed it, but I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
It was like a spoiler thing. I don't remember what it was.
I know what you're
I don't even.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
You asked, do they eat the bones at all?
Oh yeah, do they eat the bones?
Oh yeah.
And you were like, that's actually a relevant thing.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm a genius. But
yeah.
Bones and all.
Bones and all. Yeah.
Does one of them eat the other one at the end?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and David Gordon Green had a cameo in it.
David Gordon.
He was in it.
He had a weird ear.
Yeah, he did have a weird ear.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just really enjoyed the movie. I had a good time watching it.
Luca.
Fun road movie with a little horror twist. I liked it a lot.
Good old Luca. I'm still interested in his career, even though I wasn't crazy about that movie.
Well, you know what? I will. I'll check that one out.
Yeah,
I'll still check it out.
Always one of the best friends.
Well, I do have I had Northman as my number 4. Should I do my number 3 or should I just let Andy?
Well, do you have more to say on the Northman?
I guess, yeah, maybe safe. I do 3.
Northman, I mean, it's all been said.
Yeah.
Good movie. Okay, well, number 3 for me.
Wasn't your number 3 the Northman?
You're right. My number 3 is the Northman, yeah.
Well, let's defer to Evan.
What's your number 3?
So my number 3 is the Batman.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, my number 3 is the Batman.
That's my number 1.
Me too.
That's your number 1?
2 number ones.
What happened with the Northman and the Batman thing?
That's what happens, because I had it written up in the top, like how I wrote it unranked.
You want to do something?
Yeah.
Okay, so Evan, I think skip Batman and we can end with Batman. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So do you want to do your number 2?
Well, I feel like I kind of got robbed on number 5 a little bit. No offense, Andy. Because I was like, oh, Evan, time to talk. And then...
You talking about Bones and all?
No.
On number 5, on Northman.
Yeah.
He means.
Never mind. We can wait. We can save it.
I mean,
the Batman, I'm sure all of us have a lot to say about.
Well, we did a 3-hour podcast on it. So.
That's true. That's true. But do you mind doing that?
Yeah, sure.
I think that... So do you want to do your number 2?
So Northman's my number 3. Batman's your number 3. We'll get back to that.
Well, what's your number 2 then? Are we going back?
What's your number 3, Dylan?
So Evan's number 3 is Batman, but he's an idiot, and that belongs at number 1.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just kidding. But we're gonna say.
And I'm being robbed of the chance to speak about it, but it's okay.
Well, no, yeah,
we're gonna.
Okay, yeah, number 3.
We're gonna make Batman a group discussion at the end.
Mm.
Okay, that's not like one. I think that's a good idea. Anyways, Everything Everywhere All at Once. You know, we talked about that already as well. But
that's your number 3?
Yes.
Nice.
I think it was a great movie. It was a very entertaining movie. Short Round was good in it. What's his name?
He was.
Ke Huy Quan.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but yeah, he's really good. Also, wish he was Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that'd be nice, right?
But that's never gonna happen. But
he'll be in 5.
I thought it was really clever, like you said, with the way that it handled the multiverse. I think the way it handles the multiverse is better than Marvel or DC or any of like the Hollywood gimmick movies that have tried it.
They are not even close.
It's really cleverly done. You get a lot of character work out of the different universes and whatnot, and it's just it's a clever, smart movie. It doesn't have a huge budget. I don't remember if either of you know what the budget was.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't.
But I don't think it was that huge, and
no,
it was like 15 million or 10, something like that.
Oh yeah, that's small.
Yeah.
Way better than Doctor Strange.
And the whole it just looks way better than your typical Marvel fare.
Yeah,
it does. It's better and funnier, and the action's better. Everything's better about it.
And yeah, so it's just a really good, solid movie. It's
hard to say much more about it that hasn't been said by every nerd-ass YouTuber.
Yeah, it's been talked to death, but I think it's still worth watching.
Yeah, I agree.
It's still worth watching.
And Michelle Yeoh was really good in it.
She was. Yeah, everyone was. I love that.
Yeah.
Even
well, the daughter wasn't great.
She wasn't amazing, but I still liked her.
Well, it's weird. People are saying she's getting like award nominations. So yeah.
She don't deserve that.
I mean,
I thought she was good. I thought she was good. Yeah.
Like, no,
she was good, but she wasn't pulling as much weight as like Short Round. And
well, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis are saying is in award talk too, and
she definitely does not deserve it.
Yeah. The daughter did better, did more than her.
I agree.
Like she was in it for fucking 5 seconds.
Yeah, she was. It was funny.
Good movie.
Yeah,
good movie, and it was funny.
It was very funny.
I mean, it wasn't
and it was hilarious.
Yeah,
it was no Jackass, but it was good.
It was no Jackass, but that is indeed. All right, so my number 2 is The Whale.
That's also my number 2.
I'm going to beg you both not to spoil it.
Yeah,
I will not spoil it.
To at least as little as you can, but go ahead.
This movie just really was like impactful for me. Like it was like what a documentary does without it being a documentary. Really, like it just tells a very important story. I think like everyone should watch about depression and how quick you can become something that you never thought you could become, and about how addiction can ruin lives, and about choosing your own self-happiness over the other responsibilities in your life, and the way that it can affect other people in your life. And it really just was a very deep character story about this guy Charlie, and I really enjoyed learning about this character and the lessons that you can learn from his life, and not to mention just all the acting is obviously amazing. And I went in very skeptical about everyone besides Brendan. Like Sadie Singh, like she's never impressed me in Stranger Things. I don't like her in Stranger Things. She's cringy in Stranger Things. I don't like her very, but she was good in this. Like she definitely is like kind of like an angsty teenager, but she like plays it good, and she came around to me. And the Asian woman, I can't remember her name, and it is very good in this movie.
The nurse, right?
Yeah, the nurse character.
Yeah, that was Hong Chow.
Yeah, so all the acting was amazing in it, and I just think it was I like Darren Aronofsky, I can't say his name, a lot. Like, he's made a lot of movies. I think I've seen all, besides The Wrestler, I think I've seen all of his.
Is he Social Network?
No, that's David Fincher.
Yeah, I've seen Black Swan.
There's a lot of Davids and shit going on, I don't know.
Mother, Requiem for a Dream, and this, and I've been a fan of all of his work, so I really like him, so... And it's just a great story. It really is just a great telling story, and you can learn a lot from it. It's a telling story. What you need to look out for in life. And, how easy you can. This character that he talks about it in the movie. Like he wasn't always that. It happens quick in the matter of years. You can become something you never thought you could ever become, and the emotions hit very hard in this movie. I had dry eyes, literally medically dry eyes. I wish my eyes were more wet because my doctors they were saying I was more dry for this week. I had to get eye drops, and I was still crying in this movie. I didn't think it was possible for me to cry because I just had super eye dries.
That's the magic of filming.
Dry eyes.
Yeah, but the ending of this movie, it just really, really hits. I don't know. He's such a good guy, and you can't help but love his positivity in the world, and it just.
What does he say? He's like, people are good.
Yeah, you never have the feeling that people are incapable of
not caring.
Not caring.
That's that's the one thing though. I never thought this movie looked bad or anything, but that's such a
When you watch the movie, it's better.
I'm sure. Yeah. But you know what I mean. It sounds like one of those
because it's directly related to a major plot point.
I'm sure. But I'm just saying in the trailer, it just sounds like every the Blind Side or whatever.
Yeah.
People are beautiful.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But Evan, please, do you have any? This is your number 2 as well.
So I want to start out by saying kind of what Andy was mentioning at the end was. So I mentioned kind of crying in the Fabelmans, and then my number 1 film also made me cry. But this movie, it was different. This was an emotional. Crying.
This was your sad cry.
Yeah, I was legit crying watching this at the end of the movie. Really and this is one of the only theater experience I can think off the top of my head. Actually, there's another one, but this one I was actually actively involved in, where there was multiple people in the row I was sitting in crying. The other one was there's A Star Is Born. The people in my row were also crying, but in this, it was me crying, the guy next to me was crying. And the guy sitting, not next to, I was with my brother, but the guy sitting next to my brother was also crying.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think Joey told me he was crying too.
He was he said he was holding it back.
He told me he was fighting it.
Yeah. It's hard not to.
Yeah. But I was legit crying, my nose was all fought out here. Yeah. It really hits. And something that really bothered me regarding the backlash to this movie is about people saying it's fat phobic. And I thought that was really. If anything, I feel I feel
it's science to fat people they're not monsters. There's probably a reason why they fucking gained all that weight. Some insane trauma happened.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a very traumatized character.
Yeah, they shouldn't be shamed for being fat. They should be helped, and we need to work together to make people healthy.
I think people that I'm sure you agree with this, Evan. You've talked to me about this before. But there's a degree of fat shame where people are like, oh, you're fat shaming. It's that doesn't exist.
Well, I mean,
I mean, you can be mean to a fat person, but I don't think that's fat shaming.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be like you said, they don't need criticism, they need help.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, this is a very honest portrayal, and you know what, you can't say, oh, you're fat. I used to be fat, so fuck you. I mean, not to this level, obviously. But I've had a family member who was... I'm not even going to get into that, because I talked about it a little bit in my review, but I had a family member...
His review on Letterboxd.
Yeah, who actually did lose her life. And they were massively... Like Charlie the Whale.
Similar situation.
Yeah, but it's very real. It's very real.
Very real.
Yeah, this is what
I'd be hard pressed to find like one person like that
and it is like a drug addiction, like, you know, and it's like
just as much. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying because like Requiem for a Dream, that's like about like drug substances, but this is like about like a different
like and how easy it is, like how like feeling bad for these people, like I don't know how to explain it, like you know, just like. They're humans, like you know what I mean. Like we're all just humans. Like just even if you're addicted to drugs, you're addicted to food. If you're like, you know what I mean. Like
it's like it's not healthy for you. So it's like that kind of bothered me. It's like
how it happens. Like
I think
exactly the reasoning why it happened. That was very real.
I think from the outside looking in, addiction, whether it's like eating or drugs or whatever, it's easy to say like we'll just stop.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like it's.
Yeah, there's more to it, and that's what the movie does.
You,
It's not like he's a joke or anything. No, he's like a real character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that I want to mention that because that really bothered me. But to like Andy's point, this kind of like the Northman also. Well, because this was actually written by a screenwriter and is based off a play. Again, this movie also is built like because it takes place primarily in one location.
Yeah.
It's built kind of like a play, and it's very dialogue heavy, kind of like a play. You know what I mean?
I heard a lot of the scenes are word for word.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't seen the movie or the play.
But the screenwriter did write the script.
Yeah. I really love that it takes place in one place because it just like it keeps your attention throughout the whole movie, even though it's just like one place with one guy.
Yeah, and also he never leaves. And the movie's entirely from his.
I was going to say it's also like sedentary, like he is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know, it works. Like, it completely keeps you engaged in this movie just based on like the story of what happened to make him this guy and what he did in his past and what's gonna happen in the next couple days in his life. Yeah.
And can I ask you guys something?
Yeah.
Does he ever wipe his ass in the movie?
No. He does shower though.
Yes. He does shower.
But yeah, and I thought also I'm not a very religious person, and Darren Aronofsky claims to be an atheist, but at the
he made Mother.
He did make Mother, but he says exactly. There's always religious elements in his movies, but he claims to be an atheist. But I feel like after watching it, there is like a very like almost Christian kind of message,
come to Christ moment at the end.
I wouldn't say that necessarily, but just things about redemption, and that is a plot point, like the things in the Bible, things about like redemption, and then like the spiritual or the flesh, things like that. And it. There are like some Christ-like elements in Charlie. I don't want to get into that, but So I thought that was all great, and then also the way he teaches writing, and then for me something that stood out was like, he teaches persuasive writing, and then you kind of see the way he uses that in his real life. This is something I haven't seen many people talk about, but I feel like that's an element in the movie. Again, I
haven't heard about that either.
Yeah, again, I want to kind of stay vague on that because I don't want to get into too many plot details for.
Is it like he's like a manipulative?
No, I wouldn't say that. No. I would say it's for the better.
Oh, he's like an eloquent speaker.
I'm not. I won't say anything.
I'll stop playing 21 questions.
You can read my Letterboxd review. I get into that, but Yeah, that was all great, and like I said, it was just very real. And there's a scene towards the end that's like very hard to watch, and it was like it hit me hard watching that.
The last scene, the very ending, the last like 5 minutes is.
Well, I meant that, but no, I meant there was a scene before that was very disturbing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you mean when he's going through something.
He
takes it out. He takes it out. Through a certain method. It is hard to watch. I agree. But the very ending, like the last 5 minutes, I mean, it's impossible.
Oh, it's amazing.
It is amazing. It really is. It's every emotion you can feel. It's inspiring. It's sad. It's like happy. It's like it's redemption. It's that feeling that it's never too late to rekindle with someone.
Yeah, and also the whole daughter. Father thing that also kind of struck a chord for me with like my own personal shit, and I kind of related to Sadie Sink's character a little bit, which is weird. I know everyone shits on her like because she was
good. I didn't mind
no, I don't mean her performance, but like the character. They're like, oh god, she's like
I know
kind of a bitch. But
I mean, she is a kid, right?
Well, I mean, part of the movie, like there's like her character's like kind of a whatever, like she's an asshole,
Sure.
But
I mean, I'm just saying like. If you're a kid, can you really fault someone for being a bitch?
Well, no, but But it's understandable why.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
And I kind of related to that, so... Yeah. So, besides it just being a great movie, it also kind of struck some notes.
Yeah.
For me personally, and I think that made it more impactful. So, yeah, this was a great movie. I really enjoyed it.
It's the feeling of, like, when you watch a documentary and you leave it, like, with your life changed, like, damn, like, that really happened type shit. But it's not that. It's a narrative story.
Yeah.
But it's so, like, so... close to home and so like like true to real life that you can't help but just be like damn, this is so real. It's so real.
And a great score too. I wanted to mention.
I was I wanted to bring that up. I really loved the use of music. It was like every time he ate, it had like this dark because it really like set in stone. Like it was an addiction that he couldn't fight. Like he would like be like talking about I'm sorry. He kept saying I'm sorry to his nurse, and she would bring him like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like she's killing him and she's giving him, and he's just eating it, just like I mean, it was a very well use of music to really like be like damn, like this is like killing him right now. Like we're watching him die right now.
Oh, and to go back for a second, I forgot to mention Bones All, also a great score. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. I forgot to mention that, but yeah. So yeah, there you go.
The Whale was amazing.
Yeah, great movie.
I can't wait to see it.
Yes.
Both are number 2s.
It's the most scary movie I've seen this year. Yeah. Oh, I want to say great prosthetics. We didn't say that. We didn't say that, but like.
Oh, it's interesting.
It's
too,
amazing.
Because you mentioned earlier, what movie was it? Was it Pearl or something? About the shitty old prosthetics.
Yeah.
But and you were like, oh, it never looks right. But then I was thinking like, oh, but Whale. Like I wonder what he'll think about that.
Whale prosthetics were amazing.
Like
it really looked like a 700-pound man on like my 700-pound life or something.
Yeah, I heard.
I thought his finger for a bit.
Maybe
a little bit, but
like less lifelike.
They look like kind of rubbery, but no, for the most part, it looked great.
Because he had no circulation in his.
Yeah, that's what...
No, but yeah, I heard also the fat suit was not like the typical like feathers or like styrofoam. It was like beads.
Oh really?
Yeah. So
I can buy it because
it has more of it has more weight to it in the right places.
Yeah, I can buy that.
So I thought that was really interesting.
All right, well, yeah, that's our number 2s.
Yeah, the Whale.
Very cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
What's your number 2?
I'll let you know my number 2. Yeah. And I think this is a movie that you guys probably didn't like that much.
Oh.
But Barbarian.
Barbarian. Oh,
Barbarian. Yeah.
Barbarian's
awesome.
my number 2, and neither of you mentioned it.
I actually meant to leave it out of my honorable mentions because I figured it'd be on your list because I knew you liked it a lot.
I was gonna say
I would have put it on
in the worst episode when you were talking about X and then you brought Barbarian. I was gonna kind of shit on it, but I had a feeling it was gonna be on Dylan's top 5, so I didn't want to.
I like Barbarian a lot.
I like it too. It's very well made.
It wasn't a bad movie. No, it's definitely way better than X. Yeah.
The reason it's so high for me, I think, is because I don't know. There's this weird element of horror comedy that I guess I've kind of been getting into, but like less, less like scary movie and more like Scream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like horror's like kind of more the focus, but then there's an element of comedy to it. There's obviously an element of social commentary to it.
There is.
Which I didn't love, but I liked. And there's some good comedy also that's drawn from it. And also, when I first saw the movie, I didn't know what I was getting into. It kind of I actually actively did not want to see it because I was like, this looks like one of those shitty like, oh, you like you go on a trip and you're in a weird location and then some guy comes and.
Yeah.
It looks like some really generic shit.
Yeah, it's like fan film.
Well, both of the movies that Dylan had the reaction to, where I said, Dylan, we should see this, ended up on his top 5.
Well, what other one?
Kimi and that, because you said you had the same reaction to Kimi.
Kimi, I was like, fuck that.
But neither one were on my top 5.
But I do, I have some faith in Evan sometimes. He does he'll lead me astray every once in a while, but...
Most times.
He helped me broaden my horizons. But Barbarian, it was similar to Malignant, but I think it was like a lot better than Malignant. I think the movie was beautiful looking. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's a little strong of a word. It looked good.
It looked good. Well shot. I liked the camera movements and techniques.
I think...
Yeah, for sure. That was the best part to me.
Cool camera movement.
One of the best parts of the movie to me was not just the cinematography, but like the language of film in a way. Like in a sense that like you frame the camera in one way and it makes you think like, oh shit, this is gonna happen because of the framing. So it's like, oh, it's framed this way, so someone's probably going to jump through the window. And then it subverts that, and it doesn't do that. But it uses that to build tension in a lot of different ways, especially in the kind of the first part with the Bill. Is it Bill Skarsgård?
Yeah.
Yeah, with him. And I like that whole part, too, with Bill Skarsgård's character. Spoilers, and his death is insane. It's really crazy.
The brothers were both on your top 5.
Oh, yeah.
His brother is the lead in The Northman.
Oh, sure.
Alexander.
Yeah, you can see how I wasn't like, that hot on the Northman, right? Yeah. But yeah, Barbarian, I think it had a great flavor to it, like I said about whatever the other movie I said that about. And there was something about Barbarian I wanted to mention, the director. Lord forgive me, I forget his name. But he is
he's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy, first of all. Yeah. He's a first-time director. And he used to be on like a comedy.
He was in The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah, he was part of The Whitest Kids You Know.
White Boy Rick.
He was in White Boy Rick. Terrible movie.
He was a part of White Boy Rick. No, he was a part of The Whitest Kids You Know. And it was really interesting to see another comedian
coming up.
Come and make a horror movie.
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
And it was. I think it speaks to what people say. Like it's easy for a comedian to come and do drama than for a drama actor to go and do comedy, because I think there's a lot of obviously a lot of truth in comedy, and it's something like horror
this dark world can always find
this twisted fucking psychopath filled world.
Find the humorous side.
But I think comedy and horror and action all have a similar like rise and fall and a similar build up and payoff and set pieces. So. I don't know. I think he made a great transition to this movie, and I look forward to what he does next.
We'll be watching a career with
great
Scary.
Yes.
Don't say that to any up-and-coming actors.
Who says that? The
Palpatine, right?
Is it Palpatine? Yeah, it is Palpatine.
He says that in Attack of the Clones, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if Palpatine or if it was
watching your career with great interest.
Or the Asian like stereotype type fucking you know what I'm talking about from Phantom Menace.
Yeah, the fucking.
I couldn't remember if it was them or not.
Oh, the Republic. No, they have the Republic. What are they? The Federation.
The Federation.
Yeah, the Federation.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
They have the shields. Fully operational. Yeah, they're fucking icons.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, man, Barbarian. I love that movie. It's good.
I'm glad. I'm really glad you enjoyed that. I had a good time watching that too. It was very well made.
Who's the girl?
And I don't know.
I can't remember too. She's pretty though.
Well, maybe she's not like a big name.
I would say, Dylan, you both horror movies we watched with Justin Long this year, you really enjoyed. Could Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Justin.
Go Justin. I thought he was good in this. Justin,
it was nice to see him.
Yeah, I thought as far as the actor go, he was probably my favorite.
It made me happy to see him.
Yeah. When he starts measuring, like, there's like these secret rape dungeons in his basement, and he starts
that was funny.
Measuring it for square footage and put on like the leasing website and shit.
That was funny.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess since we have the same number one, maybe Evan should talk about his number.
No, let's do the Batman first. We're saving the real best.
Well, Evan, I do want you to lead.
You want me to lead?
I want you to lead. Give us start Batman for us.
The Batman?
So the Batman, just for context also, I just cut you off when I told you to go. But this is me and Andy's number one.
Yes,
yeah.
Just
if you weren't listening like 30 minutes ago, well, go back.
Well, I'm gonna put links for every movie.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Good. Do that.
Not including the fucking honorable mentions though.
Not including Bones and all.
Yeah. JK. No, we're gonna leave that one out. Okay.
I'm cutting leaving that one out. Start with Batman.
Batman. Well, so if this, I think this should say enough to prove that I really like the Batman. Robert Pattinson is already my favorite on-screen Batman. Okay. After watching this, he was great. This movie is just I think it did for me what the Dark Knight trilogy didn't do, and I that's not me taking away from those movies at all. But it's like this movie had the Dark Knight like reality thing to it. But it also still felt like a comic book movie.
I agree.
I don't know if you guys,
I completely agree.
Like, because the Dark Knight, it feels like some Christopher Nolan science fiction shit. You know what I mean? It strays more away from the comic book side, whereas this had the grounded reality, but also still felt like a comic book movie.
I agree completely.
And it was just done really well. It feels like a gothic epic.
Yes.
Gotham.
I think one downfall of the Nolan trilogy is they they fall into this trap of like they want to explain everything. Like it's like, oh, Scarecrow uses the mask specifically to test his patients.
Yeah.
And fucking Ra's al Ghul's Lazarus Pit is technically that like he's usurped every time he dies by his follower.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, Bane doesn't use like super steroids. He's just like he has a medical condition and needs a permanent inhaler.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of legwork to explain every single little thing. But in the Batman, Riddler is just the Riddler. Catwoman is just Catwoman.
And Batman's just Batman.
Yeah.
And Penguin is just Penguin.
Yeah.
Like they all just
Penguin
like
just is like fucking.
They look how they're supposed to and they just do their thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love the Batman. This movie made me so happy watching it. Like I've been waiting for this. Like I've been waiting for this movie for so long. Like just like. Finally, Batman done right after years, like 10 years of waiting for a good Batman movie. Now, fucking.
It was 10 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, from Dark Knight Rises, which isn't even that amazing, which is good. You know, I still like, especially at the time, I liked it. You know,
yeah.
It felt so good to have Batman back on screen, and you know, just
and not Ben Affleck.
Not Ben Affleck. He looks so good. I'll never forget watching this movie and being so happy. He looks so fucking cool in that Batman suit. Like,
yeah, he looked great.
You watch him on that screen, and that's exactly how I envision Batman. Like he looks.
I think
it doesn't look real to me. He doesn't
Robert
look like a real
Pattinson.
man.
Huge props for the posture.
Yeah,
like his shoulders and and obviously the costuming. The cape hangs directly, like perfectly off the shoulders how you want it to. The boots. When the boots touch the ground, it just feels right. Yeah. Feels like this dude owns the room.
Completely agree.
I agree.
I love the Penguin. Penguin was so fucking funny and awesome and played so well by Colin Farrell.
He was great.
He was
and
amazing.
Again on prosthetics.
So such good prosthetics. You're right. So well made. Would never have guessed that it was the same guy that he is. You know.
Well, yeah, everyone's saying that like, oh shit, I wouldn't have even known him. But honestly, I kind of agree. Yeah. If you didn't tell me or I didn't know, there's no way I would have been like, yeah, it's Colin Farrell there.
It was incredible. He was so good. I loved Batman and Gordon's interrogation with Penguin, and they were like, "Loretta, am I the only one here who knows Spanish?" Like they just had such good chemistry, the three of them. You know, like especially Batman and Gordon. I love when Batman punches Gordon to break out, and he flies. You know, like
I went on a whole diatribe about that. I actually re-listened to the Batman review, which, by the way, if you want more, fuck Andy, go listen to me. No, I'm just playing, sorry. But that is a really good review. That's one of my favorites we've done.
That was a good episode, it was.
Yeah. It felt like such a perfect year one story, even though it's not necessarily year one. They just
early Batman.
Yeah, early Batman. Like the first time he flew.
Yeah.
The first time he caught a real villain, like to the level of Riddler. The first time he
experienced maybe not.
Catwoman.
If you look at the deleted scene. Yeah.
Let's not get into that. I hate that. You know, the first time I love the ending to this movie where Catwoman goes off on his own and he has to choose the Batman life and the music.
Yeah, it's like a western.
Yeah, it
like
is.
Him riding off in the sunset.
They're riding out there and he's looking at her in his fucking rearview mirror, you know. And the movie ends and the music builds up and it's like you just see it in his eyes. He's like, well, I would have fucked her, but you know, I'm back to being Batman now. So let's do some shit.
It was that Spider-Man one ending.
It was. It was like I could have chosen love, but I have a more important task.
The city is always the right choice.
Exactly. And the music is so good there. It builds up and it just stops on it. And the theme, I love the Batman theme.
Me too.
It is so fucking menacing. It is so fucking good. The way that it builds up when it's like really short and tiny, and then it goes into the it gets really big and epic. And I love the car chase scene with Penguin. I think that's my favorite scene in the entire movie.
I want to say, I remember when that scene started out, me and Dylan legit just looked at each other, just started laughing because it was like, oh shit, it's like this is like so ridiculous, but in a good way. It's ridiculous in a good way.
It's like this should not be on screen.
But it's just so fucking cool.
Like they should not be able to make this like this.
Everything about that scene is amazing. It crescendos throughout the whole thing. Like I love how it begins. Penguin's fucking hilarious in it. It perfectly captures how stressful it is to drive in the rain, in night, in heavy traffic like that. Like you're just like, God, get out of my way.
That is a huge.
Batman following him.
I think that's a huge element of that scene too, because it really does play off your kind of like, okay, you've driven on a highway before.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, it's a crowded highway, raining at night. And then it's like, what if like someone was knocking cars over?
Coming after you.
It's heightened, but it's not heightened that much.
Yeah.
It's really good. And I will say, we weren't in Dolby, right?
We were the first time we saw it with Dolby.
Okay. Yeah. Because I was going to say, that theater was fucking shaking. I don't like Dolby. And I don't like super loud things in general, but for that car chase, I was like, this is fucking, like, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I love the way that scene ends, too. As I was saying, like, a crescendo, like, it only gets better. Like, the way that when he crashes and Batman just walks up to him and the fucking camera's upside down and it just perfectly captures. It's amazingly captures how you would feel if Batman was coming at you about to fucking kill you. You're like, God, get me out of this car right now. Like, it's terrifying seeing this figure walk at you. Like, you're about to get fucked up. Like, you fucked up, buddy.
Yeah,
like,
he's like Michael Myers in that part.
He really is. It's terrifying. He's like, you fucked up, buddy. Get ready to face Batman.
Amazing.
It is. And I love the way it starts when he takes on those goons and he comes out in the fucking shadow. Like, amazing. That's a great intro, scene. Amazing intro.
The whole intro is amazing. Yeah. The whole opening scene.
I will never forget watching that and being so happy watching that. Like, oh my God, I'm watching this. Like, Batman's here.
And even before that, the Riddler opening is great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like watching the Wayne.
The candidate.
The mayor's parents.
Yeah. It's so good, too, because that kind of mirrors...
Or I guess he was the mayor already.
It already starts mirroring Batman. From the first scene, and then that winds up being, obviously like a big thing in the movie is the parallels between Riddler and Batman. And Riddler pulls some Batman shit in that scene.
For sure.
So. And the reason I put this as my number one is really because I'm just so excited for the future of this. Like, this is just I think everything was just done perfect here. The perfect casting, perfect tone, like, great. We have the perfect director for this. Like I'm just, like, I have promise for this. It's the same reason with Dune. Like, I'm so excited for the next one. Like, there's really I wouldn't want the Northman 2. I wouldn't want all the this is a movie where I'm like, give me more, but not too much. I don't want to be overloaded. But
no, of course.
I don't want it next year.
Yeah, I don't want it next year. I'm excited for it being 2025. Like, I want to look forward to this. This is going to be special. Hopefully, this is something we have for a couple years going into the era of DC. Like, I'm really excited for this battle. It's so much promise. If they can only get better, that might be hard to ask, but if they can only grow from here, then that just that's amazing. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, and I wanted to say I think because I didn't really mention this in our episode, but I think one of my favorite parts of the movie too is that, because even over the Nolan trilogy, is that how it seriously takes its subject material. Because like I said, I think the pitfall that the Nolan trilogy falls into is that, like, it kind of doesn't take it seriously enough in the way that it tried to explain everything, like you said. It tries to make it like like Batman basically like a military guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just lets it be. You know what I mean? And
like, he's still Batman. He's still
it's still grounded. It's not like comic book Batman entirely. It's still grounded, but like
I think it rides the line perfectly.
It almost makes Nolan look a little bad.
It's a hot take, but I don't care.
Because what you just said, I think, is completely right. Like, just the fact that he did feel the need to like have an origin story for every little thing, and it's like, oh yeah, the Batmobile is a military vehicle.
Yeah, Lucian Fox ordered it from the military.
He ordered it.
Yeah, they don't explain any of Bruce Wayne's gadgets in this movie at all. He just has them.
Yeah.
Which I honestly love Lucius Fox as a character, not even just in the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
But there is an element of like, when you explain away every single little gadget, it demystifies it. It makes it less, less like mythical or less, comic booky.
Oh, and the scene where he glides for the first time, great scene.
Yeah,
I love that scene. I love that scene.
Genius scene.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning the build up to that scene in the police department. Well, that whole fucking 3 scenes is perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I mentioned this in the video, but I just want to mention it real quick because it's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. You have the Riddler scene where he's answering riddles, defuses the bomb, and it blows up on him anyway because Riddler detonates it. And then he goes to fucking jail. He's in a jail room full of cops, and then him and Gordon cleverly defuse the situation. Yeah. And then you get the first time he ever glides.
Yeah.
And he fucks it up, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
amazing.
So that just that whole sequence is this is perfect Batman shit.
It is perfect Batman. It really is such a great telling of Batman, one of his first big adventures in this world, and I'm so excited for where we go from here. I really am.
I agree.
I have great faith in Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson.
I agree.
Legendary.
Yes.
Legendary. Just one last thing I want to say about the Batman. I mentioned, flavor. There's a bit of flavor. I think there's an extra little bit of style that a lot of superhero movies lack in the Batman.
Yeah, for sure.
we mentioned this also. Like I said, if you want to just sit in the Batman and hear me and Evan go on about it for a while, you can. But yeah, Gotham, the whole world is like, it's not our world, but it looks very distinct.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Gotham looks like its own thing.
Yeah.
The Batmobile doesn't feel like a real car, but it also kind of does.
Yeah.
Everything, like, no, it doesn't feel like anyone in the world would look like Penguin, but it feels like someone should probably in this town.
I know what you mean. It's like it's like kind of like
it has its own thing.
What's it called when like something's ever so slightly off?
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley. It's kind of like that, but like just kind of like everything. It could be our universe. Like it's ever so slightly parallel.
They were willing to go a little farther.
Yeah.
Like this isn't our universe. Yeah. It's very close, but there's some things that make it outside of our universe.
I think it's like it has like a gothic kick to it.
Yeah.
I think
that too. And the punk rock thing. We talked about that a lot in the video.
So yeah, a good movie.
Amazing movie. And the score, and like you guys said. I don't usually notice the score, but I've listened to this score many times on my own dime.
Go.
Yeah.
One of them.
Oh, and just shout out, since you're shouting out Michael Giacchino, shout out Greg Fraser, the cinematographer, because he did the cinematography for Dune also.
He's awesome.
And this movie's shot beautifully, so yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
Big love to him.
Yeah, big love.
All right, well, that's our number one, Dylan.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
You're not
fucking year.
Joking around.
No, what a year.
What a year, Batman. Well, there's one movie that we didn't see, though.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Because it's like already one of the biggest movies of all time. And I don't give a fuck. It is my number one. I don't give a fuck that you guys didn't see it. I don't give a fuck that this,
I've seen it tomorrow.
like that it could be a cliched choice.
All the
I don't
haters can eat shit.
No, I don't give a fuck. My number one movie of the year, the best movie I saw this year was Avatar: The Way of Water. And look, I'm not a huge fan of Avatar Part 1. I just think it's okay. This movie just stepped everything up from Part 1. It just stepped it up. And it's fantastic. And I can't get into too much because Andy and Dylan haven't seen it.
I'm kind of sad. I wish you could more. I want to talk to you about it.
But no, it's okay because I already thought of what I want to say. So a lot of people are saying a lot about Top Gun Maverick. See, I wanted to hold back on saying anything about Top Gun Maverick. And I'm not shitting on Top Gun at all, no. But I feel like what Top Gun Maverick was for everyone this year, Avatar was that for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone's like this big...
It brought you back.
Exactly, this big, great blockbuster that brought everyone back to... I mean, I've been going to theaters. It's not...
but like it brought back your love of like a big blockbuster.
Exactly, like a big entertain... Like, this is the reason we go to the movies. Like, everyone was saying that about Top Gun.
Top Gun was like our dad's movie.
Yeah.
But this is like from our childhood.
Yeah, that's true too, yeah.
You're right. We have emotional connection with Avatar.
Exactly, and...
Deny it or not.
Yeah, and so... Just watching it, like, my mind was blown. This was a great fucking movie. It's not perfect. I don't think I give any movie this year a 10 out of 10. Like, it wasn't like how I... Like, Dune, it was like my jaw was dropped every time I watched Dune. But this was, like, really close. And it's emotional. I love the characters, again, because in Part 1 I wasn't not crazy about, like, Jake Sully. But this movie focuses more on the kids. And I usually do not like children in movies. But they were great. And Sigourney Weaver plays one of them, and she's amazing in it. Again... Her performance is better. Everything you like that's in Part 1, it's just elevated, I think, personally for me. And the 3D is great. I think Rob... See, I got to quote every member of the Campia crew.
Yeah, we'll get to them all.
Rob said this was the best 3D ever done in a movie. I agree. Yeah.
Wow.
Easily.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm seeing it tomorrow.
It's beautifully shot. 3D. The water is amazing. When you watch something like this, you know who you're talking about with Babylon. Like, you see where every dollar went to.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, this is like, a huge budget movie, like... the Marvel movies, but it's like, no, you can actually see, like, love and effort when you see where all the money went, and you see James Cameron actually gave a fuck, and like, because...
He didn't phone it in.
Yeah, exactly, the effects are fucking beautiful.
The 12 years that he worked on it wasn't just phoning around.
He wasn't twiddling his dick.
He wasn't like 1 year. It's not like he started working on it 2 years ago. And
exactly.
I guess I'll finally make Avatar.
Exactly.
It's like, he's been really, like, thinking, like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
He's been in the stew.
He's been in the stew. Yeah.
What's that meme? He's been in. He's got the grizz of the water.
The Riz, blue Riz.
Yeah, he got the blue Riz drip.
the waterway on God for real. This was just. It was a fantastic movie. I saw it in Dolby 3D. See it in a giant screen. See it in 3D. Take your family with you. Like, it really is one of those movies. Like,
see it again.
I'm not usually one of the people who's like, yeah, like, go see it. But this is just like,
your popcorn and
like seriously, yeah. And I feel like I'm reacting to this the way I think people reacted to Avatar Part 1.
Yeah.
I would never
Yeah. You want to go to Pandora.
Is that, no, for real. I was like, take me to the water shit. That shit is beautiful. Yeah, no, seriously. And it's not like, the movie's not like super deep. Like the themes are very simple. It's just like, protecting our oceans and our indigenous people and family. A family's a big. That wasn't really a thing in Part 1. The family thing's a big thing.
Don't kill the whales.
Don't kill the whales. James Cameron said, "Don't call them whales." He insisted you don't call them whales. Like they were called something else.
Oh, they're called the Bugagi or something.
Yeah, on set he was like, "Don't call them that. Like, don't call them whales." But anyways, I thought it was funny. But yeah, but it doesn't matter. It hit. It doesn't have to be deep. You know what I mean? Well, you could just have a great time at the movies. And it was 3 hours long, but it flew by. And the action is amazing. That was one of the biggest steps of it. It's like James Cameron back in his element, making like great action.
That's one of the first things you said when you got out of the theater.
About the action?
Was you were like, the action was amazing.
Yeah, it was, because in Part 1, something I think sucks in Part 1 is the war in the second half. I was like, Jesus, for me personally, it's like really boring to watch. But this, it's just amazing. It's an amazing movie.
Is it better than Alita?
No.
Yeah. It depends.
I hope he slides old Robert Rodriguez a few bucks.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey man, if you want to make Alita, like, here you go.
Yeah.
Alita 2, that is.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic movie. And I was talking to my friend Kevin. We mentioned him on the podcast, of course. So shout out to you, Kevin. He said that this was one of the movies, because he saw it recently, that he watched it and it's like, you cried just from being like in awe. And I agree. I was like, you're watching, you're like, holy shit, this like, how is it possible? How are you watching this fucking shit? You know what I mean? It's just a great movie. Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for movies that, you can go style over substance and it can be valid.
Yeah.
And I think...
Well, I wouldn't even say that. It's like, it is substantive. It's just not like... It's straightforward, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You need to go to Pandora in Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I do need to go. Yeah. No, but it's like, again, to quote Rob, because I agree with him on the point, he's like, oh, this is a movie that, like, kids can just go watch it, and they can understand. It's like, oh, we should care about our environment, we should care about other people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but also it's just amazing from an adult side to watch something like that.
Yeah. But, great movie. I loved it. Yeah.
I'm so happy. I cannot wait to watch this
movie. And I can't wait to watch it again. I've only seen it once so far.
I cannot decide which to see, The Whale or Avatar.
I saw The Whale twice.
Well, I'm going to see both of them. I mean, which first?
I did see The Whale twice. I saw The Batman twice. I also saw Top Gun twice, but Avatar so far only once. But I will see it again before it's gone. Yeah, sure.
Not much Top Gun talk in this episode.
It was in no one's top 10.
Well, like I said, though, I wanted to mention, like, I felt like what everyone was saying about Top Gun, I got it from Avatar.
I'm glad, yeah. It's probably going to pass Avatar in the box office is what it's looking like. Maybe not domestic, but worldwide. It's definitely...
Part 1?
Yeah, it's definitely coming up on Top Gun. No, not Part 1, but Top Gun.
Oh, you said it's going to pass Avatar.
No, Avatar will probably pass Top Gun like in the next couple days.
Like,
yeah. I expected.
It's at 1.3.
I believe it was Grace Randolph said it's like definitely going to be...
It could be
It's going to blow 2 billion.
Yeah. That would be insane. That would be more than No Way Home. If this movie makes more than No Way Home, like I really didn't think we had a movie bigger than No Way Home.
What better movie franchise to heal the nature of film than Avatar?
I couldn't agree more.
So if you couldn't tell by how excited I was just talking about the movie, I fucking love this movie.
I can't wait to talk to you about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Were the Na'vi sexier in this movie? That's what everyone's saying. They said the Na'vi are purposely sexier.
No comment.
Did you get a little chubby?
No comment.
Okay, all right, okay.
But yeah, no. I
guess we'll see it for ourselves.
It's great.
That neck.
Yeah. It was fucking great. And yeah. And again, I was talking about the movie with Kevin, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I can really tell you liked it a lot when we were talking about it." So yeah, I love this.
That's
movie.
Always great. When did you leave the movie? You just were in love. Like you're just like, this is like I want to do.
Yeah, I was like, this is a fucking amazing movie.
I love that feeling. I love that feeling. It really like moves you. You're like, wow,
and I was not expecting that at all. I went in with pretty much no expectation because I'm not a huge fan of Avatar Part 1. So yeah.
Do you love it more now in retrospect a little bit, like knowing that it's not just?
No, because I think. For me, it's the same because I'm like, oh, okay, everything I thought was just all right in Part 1. It's like this was like
what you really like is the improvements.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anything, it kind of highlights it. It highlights the
makes it a little worse.
Yeah,
exactly. Well,
And plus, it's like, I heard people saying like these movies are kind of like not in really a bad way, but like their real appeal is like the tech demo aspect of like this is the best looking CGI you can go pay to see.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine 5.
So in that way, it also dates the first Avatar because it's like, well, if I want to see a beautiful like, CGI,
well, I was gonna say though,
movie.
we saw Avatar Part 1 in 4K when they did the re-release, and it still looks better than
much better
most of the shit they released.
Anything that we talked about this year, like CGI wise, it looks better. Maybe besides Avatar 2, obviously, but all these MCU movies, Jurassic World Dominion, all that shit.
Like, the MCU movies aren't even a question.
Avatar 1's still better than all that shit.
But that's the point, though. Avatar is like. It's over 10 years older than like fucking
Thor
4.
Yeah, shit, and it blows it out of the water. So
what happens when James? It's not. He uses CGI in the way that like how amazing it really is that we have this technology.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Marvel makes you hate the technology.
Yeah, exactly. Marvel makes you take like God, everything's CGI. This shit is so stupid. James reminds you, it's like, wow, we can do such amazing things with this technology when there's love and care put in.
I was gonna say, and this completely off topic, but I'm watching. I mentioned this in. Maybe the Gremlins episode. I've been watching this anime, Nadia the Secret of Blue Water. But one of the big themes of that movie is like, because it takes place in like the late 1800s, it's like science, and like when it's used for good, it can be this amazing thing. When it's used for bad, it can be terrible. And when you said that, it's like, and also that whole show's water themed, also so Avatar. But anyways,
it's all coming around.
The thing is like. When there's love, science and CGI, it can be this amazing thing, but it can also be the terrible thing.
If you're tired of looking at it.
If you're interested in saving money, it's going to go terribly.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in pushing the medium...
Well, I don't even think it's saving Marvel money. Because, like I said, they're like spending more to get the rush jobs.
I know they're wasting a ton of money.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think at all they're spending more money to get
where's all that money going? I want to know.
It's going into the pockets of the fucking... Like
it's going to Jeff Goldblum's pocket.
There's a couple directors, there's a couple actors that they just line the pockets heavy as fuck. Maybe the fucking fucking music people, what are they called? The composer. Yeah, maybe it goes to them a little bit. They just line the pockets of these select few people, and then they pay fucking minimum wage to the people slaving away on the fucking computers. Such as your friend Kevin. But
well, what a great year of movies.
Avatar great. And I'm excited for you to see, Andy, because I know you're gonna love it. I know you will. Because Andy likes Avatar Part 1 more than I do, so I know he's gonna love The Way of Water.
Well, I am really interested though in the I want to see what Jimmy was cooking.
Yeah,
Jimmy's been cooking it up for a while.
He was letting it baste and simmer.
Jimmy cooks. That's what that song is about from Drake.
Yeah,
it was about what James is about to blow up.
Seriously.
Yeah, Jimmy cooked it up. That's amazing.
But yeah, shout out James Cameron. Thank you for once again saving some.
Thank you, Daddy.
Yeah. Thank you, Daddy.
Thank you, Daddy.
Thank you.
So as far as blockbuster filmmaking goes. It was 2022 was a pretty good year.
Mixed year.
I would say it was a good year because
Top Gun, Avatar.
Because the Marvel movies for they weren't flops, but they were disappointments. And then the ones everyone loved.
You're right. I see what you mean.
Like Top Gun was huge. Avatar was huge. The Batman. It didn't knock it out of the park box office wise, but it was a huge critical success.
It was a crowd pleaser too.
It was exactly. It was a good year as far as like the movies that I want to succeeding. Like I'm happy to see Top Gun and Doctor Strange. I think those Avatar and like Minions. As crazy as it sounds, like I'd much rather see Minions fucking succeed than Lightyear and all.
It really sucks that the Minions 2 is better than like the Pixar movie that came out in theaters.
It is.
That is nuts.
And it made what Lightyear and fucking Strange World made as a fraction, like together as a fraction of what Minions was able to make. Minions made almost $1 billion. Like it made almost just as much as Doctor Strange. Like Minions, you can no longer say, well, people aren't going to animated movies like that anymore post COVID. Like clearly they are. Like Minions was like not even like blew the fuck up. Like it's not even close to what these other movies made. So yeah, I agree.
I'm so happy the other studios are pushing back on Disney a little bit.
Finally, we're starting to see some like 2019 can never happen again. Where like
that's the
Disney
thing is
had, like $9 billion.
2019 had $4 billion plus dollar movies for Marvel or for fucking Disney.
That'd be insane.
$4 billion plus movies for Disney. in 2019, and then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So it was like the darkest period.
Yeah,
for
seriously.
Because it was like, will we ever recover?
Yeah.
And in 2022, we've seen the sparks of hope.
We are.
Slowly,
it's been... Even though it sucks that it's Disney making that money, it's like, at least it's not Marvel.
But it's also
a better face.
But if anything, hopefully, anyways, we don't know for sure, but hopefully they can learn the lesson, like, oh... You see, when we have someone who with care and love leading this,
but it's like craft focused. It can still make you back tons of money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I say this and think this all the time, but they'll definitely learn the right lesson from that.
Yeah, yes. Disney is always notorious for learning the right. Bob Iger back. This is his first win. I think Strange World came out when Chapek was still there. Like I think it was right after. I don't know. Maybe not. I can't remember, but. Iger's happy right now. He's happy. He's getting a little bit of credit for Avatar. But you know what? It was a good year overall. I gotta say.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I did think it was a good year.
There was a lot of shit. Like a lot of the movies I got. Like this might be like.
But there's always shit.
You're right. This might be the year I've seen the most worst movies. Like movies that I don't like. Like I saw a lot of movies I don't like this year, but I saw a lot that I did like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it is every year. You know what I mean? That's what it'd be this year.
There was no Disney animated remake in theaters.
There wasn't. Pinocchio went in Disney.
That's a blessing in itself.
It is. You're right. Disney really took an L this year, and honestly, like I really appreciate that.
I know. It really does feel like it's like the playing field is leveling out.
Things are starting.
And I think all my top 5 movies, I think I could say, I loved all those movies.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff I love this year.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable. I have to say, I'm excited for next year. Almost. It's almost like we made a whole more list of things that we can look forward to next year.
We'll get into that. But,
no, I wouldn't do anything like that.
I think that wraps up this episode, right?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We forgot in the last 2 episodes to do a call to action in the beginning.
Yeah.
But if you made it this far, thank you. We appreciate it. And please leave a like. Subscribe for perhaps another episode.
Yeah.
To come.
Maybe one more. Starring a special guest again, maybe. We'll see.
But yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Do you have any last thoughts?
Yeah, I do. Go watch Avatar: The Way of Water now. That's my last
thought.
Watch
Babylon.
And yeah. Seriously,
that didn't need a flop.
I'm gonna say just
support Damien.
Support, because Avatar is an original. Well, it's a sequel, so it's not really an original film. But you know what I mean. It's
more original than like.
It's not a millionth superhero movie.
Yeah.
But
it's not an adaptation.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. So, but also support, the dramas that they got out there.
Support The Whale.
Yeah.
Irishman.
The Whale's not doing too bad though.
No, it is. It's doing decent. Support Pussy.
I think of Brendan. People are like, the Brendan comeback movie.
That narrative of his comeback, and it's like a super dramatic.
Yeah. He kind of he was fat, so it's kind of like, damn, this is the Brendan.
When I first saw a picture of the Whale, I was like, fuck, did he get that fat? Because it was just his face. And I was like, I haven't seen him in years. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah, but no. Thank God, no.
Thank God, no.
That would feel mean to be like, I'll write a movie about you being fat.
Yeah.
If he really was that fat. But anyways, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you to both my co-hosts, and thank you to God and Jesus Christ for helping James Cameron pull that off and everything.
I agree.
And thank you, Audible.
Thank you to Audible.
Yes.
I hope we can say that legally.
Yes, we can. for providing a great service to people across the world.
Yeah.
Facts.
Happy New Year.
Love you.